The Mets have talked for the last several years about getting younger. Maybe not to this extent. The next generation is ready. That's clear. It's Players Family Day at Citi Field. And kids of all ages, kids of ball players, ready to go. As the Mets and Nats get set to do battle at Citi Field. At Citi Field in New York, Pix 11 Sports presents New York Mets baseball. Today the Mets play the Washington Nationals. And a pleasant good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Citi Field. Gary Cohen, Keith Hernandez with you today as the Mets play the rubber game of their series with the Nationals, and it marks the first home start for Zach Wheeler. Wheeler has 2 starts under his belt, 6 scoreless innings in Atlanta, and then some more problems his last time out against the White Sox, a day when it appeared as though he might be tipping his pitches.
Well, I thought when I watched the game that he was slowing down his arm speed on his curveball. That's the only thing I noticed. He's a diamond in the rough, Gary. He had trouble in Chicago because he couldn't get his secondary pitches over. Now, those pitches we're showing you right there, those first 3, that's the potential he's got. If he can get that curveball over like that in those locations with consistency, he's going to win because he's got the electric fastball. The hanging curveball, slider got him there. So he's really a diamond in the rough. You know, a lot put on his shoulders. This will be his first start here. He's 1-0. The 8 walks and 11 in the third, too many.
And he's also given up 6 stolen bases in his first 2 starts, so that's something to watch as well. Against a Nationals team that's at 500 for the 18th time this year. This was a team expected to run away in the National League East. It hasn't gone that way.
Well, you know, last year was a golden year for them. Everybody had good seasons for them. The bench was outstanding. They're not performing up to par. They're a team now that's at 500 for the 18th time this year. But you know they're going to get Harper back after this series tomorrow, and they are hopeful to get Ramos, their young catcher, back maybe in a week and a half. And I look for this team right here at some point, if not before the All-Star game, in the second half to put a streak together and catch fire and put a push on the Braves.
Maybe the best exemplar of what's gone on with the Nats is their starter, lefty Gio Gonzalez. 21 wins last year, only 4 this year, but he's pitched almost as well.
Well, he's got 9 no decisions, tied for the National League lead with Matt Harvey. He's pitched very well, had a bad April. He's pitched very well since then. 4-3 on the season. He has a 3-1 career record against the Mets.
So it's the Mets and Nats on a Sunday afternoon. It's David Wright bobblehead day. It's a pretty good likeness. Okay. Players generally perform very well on their bobblehead day. A lot of pressure on David today. All the action on Pix 11. Truth in engineering. by Time Warner Cable. Enjoy all the things you love better. Call 1-855-WANT-TWC. By Mazda and the all-new Mazda 6. By PC Richard & Sons. By the Volkswagen Sign Then Drive event, where you can drive away for practically just your signature. By the Welcome to the New State of New York. Plan your vacation now at iloveny.com. And by Nissan's Easy Choice sales event. The choice is easy. The savings are big. Get to Citi Field Thursday afternoon for your All-Star Gnome. Presented by Pepsi. The first 25,000 fans attending the 110 game against the Diamondbacks will receive an All-Star Gnome. Get to Mets.com for tickets. Keys to the game brought to you by Jaguar. See the new model year lineup at JaguarUSA.com.
Well, of course, we talked in the open about young Wheeler, 23 years of age now. Just remember that, youngster, and he's got to throw first pitch strikes. Tom Seaver always said, what's the most important pitch? Strike one. So always want to get ahead of hitters. I can tell you from my experience, I loved hitting 1-0 as opposed to 0-1. And Gio Gonzalez, we talked about his no decisions. He and Mr. Harvey make good bookends, don't they? 9 no decisions, tough luck pitchers. And also the youth movement of the Mets. I just think Lagares and Satin, you can see what they've done since their call-ups here. And then Lagares has been here longer, of course, but he's getting a chance to play more every day now, and they're showing what they can do, and they've injected some spirit and life in this ball club.
Zach Wheeler, first time out at Citi Field. 2 starts under his belt. What'll he do before the home folks? Find out. First pitch coming up. Zach Wheeler at Citi Field. Big day, big crowd. David Wright bobblehead day. His mom and dad have made the trip up from Georgia to watch as Zach makes his first home start.
Well, you can see the numbers right there, and we highlighted his walks. It's a lot of base runners with the 8 hits. A nice start his first time in Atlanta in front of the home folks. Very poised. That's what impressed me, pitching in front of the home folks. His second outing just couldn't get his secondary pitches over. He's a diamond in the rough. If he learns like anybody else, if you can get the secondary pitches over with consistency with a fastball like his, you're going to be fine.
Here's your Tri-Honda starting lineup for the Nationals, brought to you by your local Tri-Honda dealer. Exact same lineup 3 days in a row for the Nats. That'll change tomorrow. Bryce Harper has completed his rehab assignment and will rejoin the Nats at home tomorrow when they play Milwaukee. But for now, Roger Bernardino stays in left field, and Davey Johnson's team will try and get back above 500 as they reach the midway point of their season.
And we'll take a look at the defense. That is your Metropolitan defense, your New York Metropolitans, brought to you by New York Life Insurance. And Mr. Satin has made a couple of nice plays in the field yesterday. He started a double play, 2 double plays, where he caught the ground ball, tagged first base, and completed 2 big clutch double plays that got the Mets out of trouble. And he's done a fine job with the bat, too.
Meanwhile, the man he is replacing for the moment, Ike Davis, got himself ejected from the game last night for Las Vegas. Showing a little passion. Ike's hitting .288 down at Vegas. Mets are facing a lefty today, lefty tomorrow, lefty on Wednesday. After that, who knows? Maybe Ike will be deemed ready, or if Satin's doing a good enough job, maybe they give him more time. We'll see. Denard Span will lead things off for the Nats. 2 for 7 in this series. What was interesting about Wheeler's start in Chicago his last time out was his inability to put hitters away. 29 2-strike pitches, only 1 strikeout. We'll see whether he has that strikeout knack back. He struck out 7 in 6 innings in his first start in Atlanta. First pitch of the day for Wheeler, and a fastball in for a strike at 94 miles an hour. David Wright going with the spats on his bobblehead day.
Imitation of George Raft.
Span takes the fastball low, 1-1. Span at .257, .310 on base percentage, well down from his career numbers. Wheeler made 13 starts for Las Vegas before his recall, and certainly opened with a bang. And he's opened at 94, 96, and 97 on his first 3 pitches to Denard Span.
Well, he's got a great arm, and you know, this was the big guy in the trade when the Mets shipped out Carlos Beltran to the Giants. You know, youngster, it's all there. I like him coming out throwing the fastball.
For all of the concern about his start in Chicago, he only gave up 4 hits, and the breaking ball struck him out. Buck will throw down to first base to complete the putout, so Wheeler fans the first man to face him with the curveball.
Well, got ahead, Gary. That's the key. And it's not a strike. You don't have to throw a strike. And that's something we've mentioned in the last 3 games, Gary, is that we saw with Matt Harvey, and yesterday with Dylan G, getting ahead in the count, throwing that bait breaking ball in the dirt or just off the plate and see if the hitters will chase.
Now Anthony Rendon, the rookie second baseman, who got off to a very hot start but has cooled down a bit, 0 for his last 12. And he takes the fastball for a strike on the inside.
He's got a little bit of a long swing, Rendon.
Ryan Zimmerman on deck.
Nice. That's what he needs to do. He does that, he's going to be just fine. Look at this breaking pitch. It doesn't get any better than that.
Quickly ahead 0-2, and he throws the slider away. 1 ball, 2 strikes. He's got both those breaking balls, the curveball and the slider, much as Matt Harvey does. What he does not have is a refined changeup. Check swing, he went around. Back-to-back strikeouts for Wheeler to start the day.
Looks like he's picked up his tempo a bit too, Gary. Working quickly. Look at the movement on that ball, sinking a little bit. And couldn't hold up his swing. No, he definitely swung. Got all tied up.
So 2 out and nobody on. Now Ryan Zimmerman, 2 for 5 in this series, was walked 3 times yesterday by Dylan G. Had the big hit on Friday night, a 3-run double. And Wheeler gets ahead for the 3rd straight hitter. 97. 0-1 to Zimmerman.
Always got to remember too, there's 8 gloves out there, and that ball might find them. Can't give away the free passes.
Well, remember the first start against Atlanta, he was so nervous in that first inning. He fell behind the first 5 hitters, 2-0. Different story in the first inning today. And Zimmerman bounces 1 foul. 1-2.
So he's got the fastball. He's a little 3/4 with his delivery, his release. So his fastball runs in to right-hand hitter. Excuse me.
Two-strike rhythmic applause. It's become a thing now at Citi Field. Zimmerman makes some contact.
And that's something he needs to learn to do, like what Harvey has learned this year. When you throw as hard as that, run that fastball up above the letters. Shoulder high. The ball explodes up there. It's a good out pitch for him. Good strikeout pitch.
One, two. And the curveball bounces short. Nice big hop for Quintanilla to handle. And Wheeler has himself a 1-2-3 inning. His first time to the Citi Field mound. Mets come to bat in the bottom of the first against Gio Gonzalez with no score. Honda dealer Eric Young riding an 8-game hitting streak. He's been a terrific spark at the start of that Mets lineup, particularly batting right-handed. Juan Lagares back in there after a day off yesterday as the Mets face Gio Gonzalez for the second time this year.
Well, Gio, 27 years of age, first year last year was a big one with the Nationals. I say his first year, 21-game winner, finished third in the Cy Young balloting. He has last 3 seasons has a combined record of 52-29. He's been incredible. And we'll take a look at the Nationals defense, brought to you by New York Life Insurance. And 13 errors this year, a Gold Glove third baseman, really, and just had a really tough day yesterday. 2 errors. Really cost his ball club a game. You would never see that from that young man right there.
10 of his first 11 errors came on throws, but then he booted 2 ground balls yesterday. Here's Eric Young, 10 games with the Mets, hitting .349 and hitting .346 as a right-hand batter this year.
It's definitely his good side.
And Gonzalez gets ahead of him. 0-1. Young, Murphy, and Wright to try and get the Mets started against Gio, against whom the Mets generally will take a lot of pitches. He does have a tendency to have wildness streaks, particularly early in games. Grounded toward the middle of the diamond, and Desmond throws out Young, 1 away.
Well, Gio has a problem where he can just have one horrible inning, and he can't find his way out. He's got 42 walks and 98 innings this year. That's too much for him, but you know what? It's last 5, 6 starts have been really fantastic. He's gotten it together.
There's Daniel Murphy. Murphy 4 for 10 in this series, including a 3-hit game yesterday. So Murphy, after a difficult road trip, has had a couple of nice games coming home. Hitting .239 against lefties this year, and this is a left-hander who does not give up much against left-hand hitters. And Murph takes a fastball for a strike. Left-hand hitters hitting just .169 against Gio Gonzalez. Now 27 years old. First-round pick by the White Sox back in '04 out of high school in Miami. Traded 4 times. Which is amazing. He went from the White Sox to the Phillies for Jim Thome, back to the White Sox for Freddie Garcia, to Oakland for Nick Swisher, and then finally the deal 2 winters ago to the Nats for 4 young players, including Tommy Milone. 1-2 to Murphy.
Yeah, it came inside right there. What I've seen of Gio, and I always, being an old left-hand hitter, well, I'm not that old, but that ball bled out over the middle. Gio, if you're going to face him, when I've noticed, because I've paid attention, he will, if you get 6 pitches from him in an at-bat, 4 of them are going to be away. I guarantee you.
And Suzuki sets up away, and Murphy pops one up. Zimmerman trying to find it. Back toward the top, and he can't make the play. He hit that tough hard.
Oh, that's a tough play right there. Had a late look at where his boundaries were, where that wall was. Watch him take a late look right there. Just out of his reach. Tough play.
He got tangled up in the spider web.
You got confused with that dyed hair right there. That orange and blue.
Fans are true to the orange and blue.
There you go. Well, there's a Met fan.
How long does it take to watch that stuff out when you go home?
I don't know. I wouldn't want to find out.
1-2 to Murph. And he fouls back the fastball.
So Murph all of a sudden was kind of feeling for the ball. It's amazing how a 3-for-5 day will get you out of it. And there's the 2 youngsters talking right there. Harvey, well, that's the big 3 really. G, Harvey, and Wheeler.
G had a nice day yesterday. 6 effective innings to get his 6th win. 2-2 now to Murphy with David Wright on deck.
But getting back to Murph, he's already starting this game now. He was really feeling against left-handers, I felt, and this is a very aggressive at bat for him against Gonzalez.
That's facing a left-hander today, and 2 more the next 2 days. It's been quite a spell of lefties the Mets have been facing. Breaking ball hit past the mound. Base hit. Overrun by Span, but Murph had already slammed on the brakes and couldn't get restarted. So the Mets have a 1-out base runner.
Well, a little lazy breaking ball. No, not really. That's just pretty good hitting right there by Murph. Takes a lot off that pitch. That is kind of like a slurve. It's a much easier pitch to read, and there you see Span overrunning the ball. But Murph, there you go, off to a good start.
First base runner of the game for either side. David Wright batting on his bobblehead day will come up for the first time. 2 for 8 in this series, hitting at .303 for the year. And Gio works him outside, and Wright couldn't stop the swing.
David got a little growth going there on his face, Gary. Hair, facial hair. They used to call it in our day. No facial hair.
That's a nice looking pitch on the inside. 0-2.
When Vern Rapp took over the Cardinals in 1977, when Red Shandy's was fired after '76, that was the flyer we got. No facial hair.
And
I had no facial hair. I obey orders.
Did that happen again? Is that why you remain clean shaven?
Oh no, that was purely my constitutional right to do whatever I want to do with my appearance.
I figured maybe there was an SNY memo that went out. Apparently not. 0-2 to Wright with Murphy at first. And Wright got slammed in the left triceps yesterday, gets flipped by Gonzalez.
And nothing wrong with this. Look how on top of the plate David is. So really that ball's not that far inside. That's just good chin.
That'll make your head bobble.
So, you know, now you got he is way on top of the plate. Look at that. So that was in around a foot. If you're going to miss as a pitcher inside, you don't want to miss out over the middle, obviously. You're going to miss in, and also it sends a message. So we'll see David's response.
Murphy runs the curveball outside, and not even a throw by Suzuki. Murphy picked the perfect pitch to run on and stole it easily, his 9th of the year.
He just broke from the belt, took a chance.
And this time he knew what was going on. Remember the other night he stole second and didn't know if the ball had been dropped, fouled off, or what. Runner in scoring position for right, and that curveball outside. It's 3-2. So Gio trying to work away to right after flipping him. That's something that's really changed the last year and a half for David. After he got hit in the head 3 years ago, you worked him inside, and the rest of the at bat was often given away. Not anymore. (3-2), and he reaches for that changeup and fouls it off. You know, it's such an axiom about pitching. You work a guy inside and it opens up the outside of the plate. My question is, as a hitter, is that a conscious thing or is that something that's unconscious? 3-2 to right, and the curveball pulled foul.
I always felt, my feeling is, if I was a pitcher, that if I gave the chin music, I would double up inside, because the good hitters are going to get angry and they're going to bear down and go up the middle. And I always liked a pitcher that doubled up and came right back inside for a strike. Well, Marlon's got to get in that on-deck circle. You can't do that.
He's not even close.
That's
9th pitch of the at-bat coming from Gonzalez to right. And David takes it low, ball 4. This is quite a turn it back for David. Got in the 0-2 hole, got flipped, stayed in the at-bat, and draws the walk.
Well, what happened there was after the decking, there's Davey Johnson. He tried to backdoor curve him twice and couldn't execute his pitches. Wasn't even close, which made it a full count, so it just nullified that pitch inside.
So a first inning opportunity for Marlon Byrd. Marlon starting his 20th straight game. Gio has been vulnerable in the first inning this year. He's got a 5.62 first inning ERA. And 3 of the 9 home runs he's given up this year have come in the first inning. He's already given up as many home runs this season as he did all of last year when he won 21 games. That's about the only real crimp in his game this year. The walks have always been high, and they remain high. 3rd in the league in walks. So here's Byrd, 2 for 8 in this series, couple of RBIs. Chance for the Mets to do some damage early against a quality left-hander and get Zach Wheeler a lead. And he misses low and in with a fastball.
Well, Bird's had himself a nice little stretch there. It's a little over a month's work.
It's 8 of his 12 home runs in the last month and a day.
He's almost on a pace for 90 RBIs. He's on a pace for 80 right now.
Reaching for that changeup and fouls it off, 1-1.
One thing I see about Gonzalez is that he's breaking ball. It's a big sweeper. It's not a real sharp curve. So it's one that is going to be, velocity-wise, Gary, a lot slower than his fastball, and you can kind of have time to read it.
Already 20 pitches deep in this first inning, facing only his 4th batter. 2 on and 1 out. He is definitely not locating his fastball the way he'd like. 2-1. This is what you do with Gio Gonzalez when you approach him. You wait for the wildness stretch. He had one against the Mets in his first start this year back in April. More notably, he had one in his playoff start against the Cardinals last year in Game 5 at a 6-0 lead. Gave back half of it in 1 inning when he lost command of the strike zone.
Helped him out.
Change up, and it's 2-2.
Helped him out there. Got fooled on the off speed. Looking for a fastball ahead in the count. 2-1. And that's the difference when you have, and it happens, you swing at bad pitches, everybody does. But if you can lay off and have a good eye, now it's 3-1 instead of 2-2, and you've got Gio right where you want him.
Two and 2 now to Byrd. And Marlin goes down to the high fastball. 94 miles an hour from Gonzalez for his first strikeout.
Well, there's nothing like that fastball upstairs. Out of the strike zone. It's always a good strikeout pitch.
Interestingly, Suzuki was calling for the pitch down.
Yep, so it wasn't meant to be. Come out smelling like a rose.
2 out of 2 on now Josh Satin, who has had a nice run playing first base.
He's had some nice at-bats. He's got a good eye at the plate. He lays off the bad pitches. He's a threat up there. He's a danger.
First pitch changeup. 0-1.
No, that's a good pitch right there. Young hitter looking for a fastball. Welcome to the big leagues.
Two out of 2 on. And Satin lofts one into shallow right center, and Jason Worth is there to grab it. And Gonzalez gets out of first inning trouble. The Mets strand 2. Zach Wheeler heads back to the mound for the second with no score. Well, Zach Wheeler had trouble in his first 2 starts getting that first pitch strike. Only 21 out of 50 batters. First inning today, 3 for 3. Adam LaRoche will lead off the second against Wheeler. LaRoche 1 for 8 in this series. Not quite having the same year he had last year when he won both the Silver Slugger and the Gold Glove in the National League.
Hit a lot of home runs and drove in over 100 runs. He's certainly not on a pace for 100 runs this year. I know one of the reasons we talked about this club at 500 is a lot of guys are not having the seasons that they had last year. But there's a whole second half.
See that? They're hanging kings in the K corner.
Oh boy.
LaRoche hits one to deep right. Back goes Byrne to the warning track. Back at the wall, and it's out of here. Adam LaRoche with his 12th home run of the year on the first pitch thrown by Wheeler in the second inning. And the Nationals go in front 1-0. Second home run given up by Wheeler. He yielded one to Tyler Flowers in Chicago in his last start. And the Nats jump in front.
Well, LaRoche in the first 2 games of this series has swung at a lot of first pitch fastballs. And this is right down Broadway. Oh boy, did he crush it.
Off the corner of that Pepsi porch. So 1-0 Washington. And now Jason Worth, who's 2 for 8 in this series.
Well, I think he knows it's gone. Yep, give me a new one.
And Now, after giving up the home run, goes low and away with the first 2 fastballs to Worth. Ian Desmond to follow, then Roger Bernardina for the Nationals, who are the 2nd lowest scoring team in the National League. I don't think anybody had that in the pool when the year began.
They miss Harper in the lineup. He's their 3rd hitter now, and he had 12 home runs before he went down with the knees, with a bad knee, the bruised knee.
And a 4-pitch walk right after the home run. So Worth is aboard, and Ian Desmond coming up. I got a question for you, Keith, and I was actually going to ask it before LaRoche hit the home run, and maybe it changes now. But you know, David Wright got drilled yesterday. He got flipped in the 1st inning today. I know you've got a pitcher making only his 3rd major league start on the mound. You want him retaliating?
No, I don't think so. I don't think Gio meant to had any intention of hitting David. To me, it stands out so much today, Gary, because it doesn't happen that much. And you know, a pitcher has a right to pitch inside. So no, I would not retaliate. It's too early. You know, but how many times we see teams on the road, particularly in day games, sleepwalk through the first half of a game? You don't want to wake them up. And it's another series to be taken by the Mets here. Keep that momentum going.
Ian Desmond 2 for 7 in this series, including a home run on Friday night. He takes a big cutter to fastball, 0-2.
That's up and in right there, and that's hard to catch up to. He just beats him badly. Just stay right there.
To Desmond. And the slider low and away. Desmond leading the Nationals in home runs with 14. He's really the only guy in the Nationals lineup who was having as good a year this year as he had last year.
He had a breakout season last year. He's a good player. There's no question. One of the top upper echelon players in the National League.
The guy who's been in the organization so long, he was drafted by the Expos back in 04. Just 27 years old, though, really coming into his prime. 2-2 now to Desmond. Roger Bernardina on deck. So Wheeler trying to settle himself back in after giving up the home run to LaRoche and a 4-pitch walk to Worth. Down to 2-2. Drive toward right center field. That's in the gap. And one hop to the wall. Worth racing for third. He's being waved around. And he will score without a throw. It's an RBI double for Ian Desmond, and the Nationals have a 2-0 lead. Desmond with his 46th run batted in, his 26th in the month of June, extending his club record for the month.
He's a high ball hitter, and he beat him up and in, but not out over the plate. That's belt high. Not away enough. He hits it just perfectly in the gap. Just short hops the wall. Worth got a little late break on this. I thought he should have. I don't know what he was looking at. You know, he should have been just. That ball was clearly in all the way.
And had no trouble scoring from first base. So a home run, a walk, and a double to start this second inning. The Nationals with a 2-0 lead. Roger Bernardina the batter. Bernardina 2 for 8 in this series. Getting a chance to play a lot recently, but that's going to end after today with Bryce Harper set to rejoin the Nats tomorrow. So an uneven beginning for Zach Wheeler in his first home start. And Bernardina takes inside 2-0. Bernardina hitting just 186 and just 162 with runners in scoring position. Kurt Suzuki on deck. The Nats yesterday scored just 1 run against Dylan G in the bullpen. The 35th time this year they've scored 2 runs or fewer, which is remarkable considering their lineup. Bernardina hits it off the end of the bat to right field. Tagging in second is Desmond. Bird makes the catch. And Desmond easily goes to third. So that's the first out of the inning as Bernardina is retired. But now a runner at third with one out for Kurt Suzuki.
Suzuki had a 3-for-4 day yesterday. He was slumping, and he kind of had a breakout to a double and 2 singles with an RBI.
He's been playing virtually every day. Wilson Ramos has been out for the better part of 2 months with a hamstring injury. They were supposed to be splitting time this year. They hope to have Ramos back in a week. So the infield has to come in here with the Mets already down 2-0. And a spot where Wheeler could use a strikeout. He struck out the first 2 batters today, but the Nats making good contact here in the second.
Suzuki's a tough strikeout.
And the slider on the outside corner, 0-1.
26 strikeouts and 194 at bats. That's pretty good. But he's hitting 220.
Desmond at third with 1 out. And it's up and in, and Suzuki fouls it off. You know, Keith, I go back to what we were talking about in the open. It was such a source of conversation after Wheeler's last start, this notion of him tipping his pitches, and that the White Sox had some idea what to expect. If you're a hitter and you feel as though a pitcher may be giving something away, how do you go about figuring that out?
Well, I always will defer to Rusty Staub, who was the best at it, who would study. And a lot of times, most times, pitchers give it away when they put the hand in the glove.
Curveball bounced toward the hole, off the glove of Quintanilla. That'll bring in the run. Suzuki takes a turn at first as Wright runs it down, and it's 3-0 Washington. So with the infield in, Quintanilla couldn't quite get to it. It's a base hit for Suzuki, and the Nats have 3 runs home.
Well, there's the case right there with an 0-2 count, Gary. You don't have to really throw a strike. And he hangs it. No, he didn't hang it. He got it out over the middle of the plate. And he gives Suzuki credit, too. Nice try by Quintanilla.
So Suzuki aboard with 1 out. Now the pitcher Gonzalez, and the Mets look for the bunt. And Gio stabs at it and misses. 0-1. Gonzalez not a bad hitter. 5 hits this year, including a home run. The second home run of his career. Of course, he started his career in the American League, so it's only his 2nd year swinging the bat, and he's been a lot better this year than he was last year. First hit against Wheeler with a runner in scoring position in his brief career. They had been 0 for 14 coming into the day. And now Suzuki's hit has changed that. In fact, coming into today, the opposition had been 0 for 19 against Wheeler with runners on base. But the Nats have had 2 hits with men on base in this inning. So that wasn't going to last forever.
No, I don't think so.
Gonzalez bunting on 0-2, fouls it off for strike 3. So their 3rd strikeout for Wheeler as Gio couldn't get a bunt down.
I don't think Gio's heart was in it.
So 2 out of the inning, and now Denard Span up for the 2nd time. Span struck out to start the game. A home run from LaRoche, an RBI double by Desmond, and Kurt Suzuki with the base hit off Quintanilla's glove with the infield in, played 3 runs against Wheeler. He gave up 4 runs and 4 hits in his last start against the White Sox. He had given up no runs and 4 hits in his first start against Atlanta. So he gave up 4 hits his first start, 4 hits his second start. If you go back in Mets history, starting pitchers who began their careers with the Mets, only 3 others gave up 4 hits or less in each of their first 2 starts. Matt Harvey was one last year. The other 2 guys, it's kind of quirky. Ryan Bannister, remember him in 06 when he came up unexpectedly? 4 hits or less in his first 2. And the other one, here's a name from the past, Juan Berenguer, 1978.
Oh, Juan, hard throwing Juan. Pitched for the Tigers, I believe.
So that's the small piece of company that Wheeler was in. Giving up 4 hits or less his first 2 starts.
I faced Berenguer.
1-2 to Span.
So you talked earlier, Gary, about the last start, Wheeler not being able to put the hitters away. There's an 0-2 base hit by Suzuki. That's not putting a hitter away. Desmond extended the count, couldn't put him away.
He was able to with Span his first time up, throwing a curveball in the dirt to strike him out. Ahead of him here, 1-2. This time goes up and away, 2-2. You were 1 for 6 against Berenguer.
Really?
With 2 walks.
Leave it to Dave to go mine the internet for it. Thanks, Dave. Make my day.
He's always going to check you out. You know that. Just to make sure. 3-2 now to Span.
Satton's got to play behind now. Play behind the runner, push off, cover some ground, left-hand hitter. Pretty much David taking the hole away at third.
Very shallow in the outfield against Span, who does not have a home run this year. Wheeler's 25th pitch of the inning. 3-2 to Span. And it's foul back. Art Span, one of 2 Minnesota Twins leadoff hitters coming to the National League East this year, along with Ben Revere in Philadelphia, and both have struggled to a certain extent. Revere's gotten dropped down in the order for the Phils, and Span struggling to get on base at the rate he did with the Twins. Suzuki getting set to run again. 3-2 to Span, and he fouls off another fastball. So again, Wheeler not able to put people away with that fastball. He did with Rendon when he struck him out his first time up. It's the 7th batter already that Wheeler's gotten 2 strikes on. Dan Warthen looking on as Wheeler throws a lot of pitches here in this second inning. This is the 8th pitch to Span, and he drives one to left center field, and that's slicing away from Lagares and goes in the gap. Suzuki will score easily. Span into second with an RBI double, and the Nats have put up a 4 spot in the second inning against Wheeler. 4-0 Washington. For Span, his 15th double and his 20th run batted into the year.
He's getting hurt on his fastball as Dan Warthen comes out to have a chat away, Garrett. He's got to learn to pitch inside. Hitter has a chance with 2 strikes. He's protecting the plate, so he's going up the middle, and so he's going to be able to cover the outside part of the plate, be more vulnerable inside. And you saw in that replay right there, the base hit, Wheeler has that fastball that runs away from left-hand hitters, and he's got to learn to maybe four-seamer right inside and throw a dart inside, keep him honest. You can't have him diving out there.
Of course, if your ball has that kind of run on it, if you learn to throw it inside to the left-hand batters and run it over the inside corner, that's a very effective pitch for some pitchers. Very
few pitchers can get away with it. Nolan Ryan is one that comes to mind. But Nolan Ryan threw 100 miles an hour, and he pitched upstairs. His ball, when he was up, he started at the letters. The ball rose out of the strike zone. Nolan was a master at that.
Now Rendon, the 8th man up in the inning, with Span at second. 4 runs home for the Nationals. And Rendon, it's a weak ground ball. Quintanilla has to charge. Out at first, Stein retired. But 8 Nationals came to bat, and 4 of them come home. The first one on one swing of the bat by Adam LaRoche. First pitch of the inning from Wheeler, and LaRoche hits it off the corner of the Pepsi porch for his 12th home run of the year. The Nats go on to score 4 and lead 4-0 in the second.
Grown-Ups 2 in theaters July 12th.
Are you starring in that?
I was just looking at the little movie picture there. It's Grown-Ups 2, but there were 4 people in the picture. I'm very confused. Tough inning for Zach Wheeler as the Nats put up 4 runs and 4 hits in that second inning. John Buck leads off in the home second against Gio Gonzalez, staked to a 4-run lead. He takes outside for ball 1. This is a cornucopia for Gio Gonzalez, who won his last start against Arizona, but before that had been having awful trouble getting any kind of run support. Before that last start, Gio had gone 8 straight starts in which he was 0-1, 2.18. It's kind of the Matt Harvey equation. Buck golfs one foul, and it's 2-1. Buck had an RBI single in the game yesterday, which Terry Collins said today he hopes might get Buck going. It was just his second hit in a 30 at bat span. Buck, Lagares, and Quintanilla for the Mets in the home second. Fouls back the fastball, 2-2.
Well, Buck always takes a big vicious cut. It's almost an overswing, and he doesn't get cheated.
Well, the thing about it, and Terry was mentioning this today, we saw early in the season, and we certainly saw it when he was with the Marlins, he has terrific power to right field. But it has not been often this year that he's driven the ball to right, at least not since April.
Well, everything's in slow motion when you're red hot and you're on a roll, and then when you get in the slump, everything speeds up. Start to pull too much.
2-2 to Buck, and the curveball sits high. 3-2. So Gonzalez, who had to work out of trouble in the first inning, goes to a full count on his first batter in the second. Buck fouls back the 94-mile-an-hour fastball. Gonzalez averaging about a strikeout per inning. 97 strikeouts and 98 innings starting the day, but the walk total, that's always been the concern. It gets him talking to himself. Averaging nearly 4 walks per 9 innings. 8th pitch of the at-bat coming to Buck, and he struck him out with a fastball. Second strikeout for Gio Gonzalez.
A little frustration coming out of Buck right there after that swing and miss. This is a fastball. Buck swung right through it. Oh, I've been there.
So 1 out and nobody on. Now Juan Lagares, 1 for 4 in this series. Appeared as a pinch hitter yesterday. Flies one foul down the right field side. That'll go out of play. Big crowd gathered here at Citi Field today with Wheeler's first home start and David Wright bobbleheads being handed out. You gotten a bobblehead?
The David Wright one?
Yeah.
Well, they'll always get one up. Lorraine will get one up for us here. I have a nice collection down in my basement.
You have a favorite other than your own?
I have one actually of Rusty in an Expo uniform.
Foul tip held by Suzuki. Back-to-back strikeouts for Gonzalez to start the second. Well, this is the likeness. I think they got his stance very nice.
I think it looks like him too. It does. I think it's. I've never seen him move so quickly. That does look like Dave.
So 2 out and nobody on. Now Quintanilla, who's 2 for 7 in this series. A couple of hits yesterday, a single and a double, and he takes a strike from Gonzalez.
Well, there you go. It's the bobblehead that launched 1,000 ships.
The eye black on David's real cheeks a little bit smudged, so it's hard to get the full.
I never liked the eye black. I have high cheekbones. I have my mother's cheekbones. Not that that's important, but I could always see the black when I got to the plate, and it just was a distraction. so I didn't like to use it.
So you wouldn't go with the Bryce Harper look with the eye black all over your face?
No.
To me, the straight lines are very important. Antonia fouls back the fastball.
Well, those goofy football players, the linemen and linebackers that wear all that black and the color their faces out. That's a little. It's like.
It's more of a warrior sport.
It's like I'm reading Omo or something.
Gio was headed toward the dugout. Didn't get the call. 2-2. Not a lot of quick outs for Gio Gonzalez so far in this game.
Just missed, but he would have had him, though he had hit the knee, was fooled. Just missed.
Lacy fly ball to left, and Bernardino right there waiting for it. And that retires the side. So after being handed the lead, Gonzalez sets the Mets down 1-2-3. 4-0 Nats after 2. Zach Wheeler back to the mound for the third after a very rough second inning in which he gave up 4 runs and 4 hits. His parents, Marion and Lane, have made their way up from Georgia to watch. Dad does not look particularly happy, but Mom's got her book going. Remember, we showed that in Atlanta. She charts and makes notes of every pitch he throws.
Dad hasn't moved. He's just very intent, observant.
Hoping for a better inning out of Zach in the third as Ryan Zimmerman leads off. Zimmerman grounded out to short his first time up. 3, 4, and 5 coming up for the Nats in the third with LaRoche and Worth to follow. Zach Wheeler returned 23 years of age a month ago. Starts the third inning with a fastball that runs inside for ball 1. Adam LaRoche waits on deck. He homered his first time up. And the curveball in for a strike. 2-1.
So Zimmerman really stands off the plate. Look at that. He is way off the plate. Out in front of the box.
And you know, some guys will be that far out and dive, but he really doesn't.
No. There's a good curveball. It's not a strike, but it's a good sharp curve. That's what he needs to. That's a strike too. That's a good pitch.
Now the 2-2 comes inside with the fastball, full count. Wheeler walked 1. He has struck out 3. Allowed 4 runs and 4 hits. Over the mound, Quintanilla flashing to his left. Nice play, throws out Zimmerman, 1 away. Quintanilla continues to play extremely well at shortstop.
He's an accomplished shortstop.
Remember when he first came up, when Tejada got hurt, he had a couple of errors quickly. But since then, he has been sparkling. Ruben Tejada has stretched it to 7 innings down on rehab and is working his way back. But as Terry Collins said the other day, there's no guarantee that Ruben gets his job back when he's ready to play. Here's LaRoche, who homered his first time up. And Wheeler keeps the ball away from him, ball 1.
And there you see the defense on LaRoche, who's become a pull hitter.
Popped up. Wright is the only guy on that side. Young comes in to help, and Young will make the call. 2 out. Helps that speed in that outfield, doesn't it?
Yes, it helps have speed on the bases, too. Well, fortunately for David here, it's Young's ball, because it was a far more difficult play for David than it is for Eric Young.
So 2 out and nobody on. Now Jason Worth, who walked and scored in the 2nd inning. Wheeler working at a nice pace. Finds the outside corner, 1-1. He was throwing his fastball 96-97 in the first inning.
Yeah.
Backed off to 92-94 here in the 3rd.
Yes, I've noticed that. A big fluctuation there.
Long drive, deep left center field, headed back toward the wall, and it's out of here. Jason Worth clubs his 8th home run of the year. And he really hit it a long way into the old seats above the Party City deck. 2nd home run given up by Wheeler today, and it's 5-0 Washington.
Home run number 8, right down the pipe, Garrett. Wants it in. Look at that, right down the middle, full extension, up in the strike zone too.
So 5-0 Nats, and now Ian Desmond takes a curveball for a strike.
Nice curve. It's just looking at a diamond in the rough.
Well, the thing about it is, what got Zach Wheeler to the major leagues as fast as he did was an electric upper 90s fastball. Today, he does not appear to have that electric upper 90s fastball, and he's not locating it well. Here's Bernardina waiting on deck. And without those outstanding breaking pitches to fall back on, that spells trouble.
Well, I can tell you from my experience, Gary, I face a lot of hard throwers and right-handers. I'm a left-hand hitter myself. They can't get the breaking ball over, and they pretty much have to come with number 1. There's a good pitch. See, there you go. That was a nice sequence of pitches right there.
So Desmond called out on the slider. 4th strikeout for Wheeler, but Worth's home run makes it 5-0 Nats. Cable. Enjoy all the things you love better. Call 1-855-WANT-TWC. Today's poll question brought to you by Chevy. Visit your local Chevy dealer at ChevyOffers.com. What's on the menu for the 4th of July? It's a food question, Keith. We'll get back to it in a moment. Zach Wheeler takes a strike. Hamburgers or hot dogs? Chicken and ribs, steak and lobster tails. That's for the upscale set. Sausage and peppers. 56812. Text your answer. 4th of July meal.
Well, my dream ticket would be the steak and lobster, surf and turf.
Unquestionably,
That would be
what about for the budget line?
Salisbury steak.
Ground chuck. Wheeler chops one to short. Nice easy hop for Desmond to handle. One away. So Wheeler's still looking for his first big league hit. Now 0 for 4. Where how about Keith Burger? Oh, it's a big crowd.
Yes, sir.
Are you on commission there?
I'll tell you what, that's good meat there. It's a good burger, and you got your options. I got my uniform on.
Do you get commissions?
Hey, my name, you can't use it. Flippantly.
Well, not as Bay, certainly.
We're also going to have that burger eating contest later in the summer.
Are you really?
It'll be the 3rd time we're going to do it. I think in August. I'm not sure.
I can see that getting as big as the the Coney Island 4th of July hot dog eating contest.
I'll be hosting that event.
Eric Young takes up and away from ball 1. Young grounded out to short his first time up. This has been a nice homecoming weekend for Eric. He told me today that it had always been his mom's dream since he signed a pro contract for him to play for the Mets. Tries to push a bunt foul, and his mom's been here the first couple of games of the series watching him play.
Not the Yankees, huh?
That's
good. We like her.
Well, we told the story when Eric first joined the Mets about how Shea Stadium was where he found out he was going to be a professional baseball player. Rockies had drafted him. He had a football scholarship to Villanova, and his dad at the time was playing for the Milwaukee Brewers. And he was at Shea Stadium, and Eric Jr. came to talk to his dad to get his opinion, try and figure out what to do with his life. Should he go to Villanova to play football, or should he sign with the Brewers? And it was at Shea Stadium that he made his decision to play baseball.
Wise choice.
So it was always a bit of destiny for him to join the Mets. There's a good curveball from Gio to strike him out. 4th strikeout for Gio Gonzalez. 2 out and nobody on.
Big sweeping curve, a little down tilt under the bat. Nice.
So 2 up and 2 set aside. And now Daniel Murphy, who has the only Met hit, single to center in the first, stole second. Mets had something going against Gio in the first inning. A single by Murphy, a walk to right. But then Gio got the next 2 hitters, and he's retired 7 in a row. Strike call to Murphy. Gonzalez bidding for his 5th win of the year and his 2nd in a row. He beat the Diamondbacks last Tuesday, went 6 1/3 in that game, and his previous win had come on the 5th of May. So he went a month and a half without a victory. David Wright would be next, but Gonzalez ahead on Murphy 0-2. I mean, it's hard to win 21 games, which is what Gonzalez did last year.
Particularly in today's game, where starters are on pitch counts and don't go deep. I've seen, how many games have we seen where the bullpens have cost a starting pitcher a W?
Well, Matt Harvey is a perfect example of that. Bullpen, lack of run support, whatever it is.
When I was a kid growing up, the hard luck pitcher for the Giants was Gaylord Perry.
Well, when I was growing up with the Mets, they were all hard luck pitchers because the Mets would score 2 runs a game, even when they were good. I mean, even in '69, they were a very low scoring
That's
team.
what's so incredible about that pitching staff. Seaver and Kuzman, Gentry, Nolan. Who was it? Caldwell. I mean, they didn't score any runs. I mean, Seaver always was pitching in tight games in Kuzma.
And yet Seaver won 25 games that year.
Well, Tom was, come on, he's Hall of Fame. There you go.
Murphy down on strikes. 94-mile-an-hour heat from Gonzalez. He's got 5 strikeouts over the first 3 innings and getting in a groove. 5-0 Nats after 3. Painting the Corners brought to you by Benjamin Moore, for everything that matters.
That is a big ball. A broad stroke.
Zach Wheeler has struck out 4 over the first 3 innings. Gio Gonzalez has struck out 5. But the Nats have exploded for 5 runs and 5 hits over the first 3 innings against Wheeler, including a couple of long balls from LaRoche and Worth. And the Nats have a 5-0 lead. Lower third of the order coming up for Washington in the 4th. Roger Bernardina, Kurt Suzuki, and Gio Gonzalez. Bernardina flied out to right field his first time up. It occurs to me that if the Mets are to win this game, they would have to do something they have not done since April.
Very good point.
And that is score 6 runs in a game at Citi Field. 28 straight home games the Mets have scored 5 runs or fewer. Going back to the Valdespin Grand Slam against the Dodgers April 24th. Curveball from Wheeler at the feet of Bernardina. 1-1. Kurt Suzuki on deck.
Zach likes to pitch off to the first base side of the rubber.
He sells that changeup. 2-1.
Right now, I tell you what, there you go, way to the first base side. I would just eschew the changeup right now. Just fastball curve.
Eschew, that's a good word.
Did I pronounce it properly?
You did. I always mispronounce it. I have to remind myself, but eschew is proper. Here's the 3-1. And it's pulled foul.
See, all those classics that I read. I had a very good English lit teacher in high school. Got me into the classics. I've read a lot of the classics, and I've always had, when I read a dictionary, and it's because I want to know what the words are. I want to know what I'm reading. If I don't know a word, I'll pause and look it up.
Ripped foul. See, now if you have your books on a Kindle, you just have to punch the word and it gives you dictionary.
There used to be the battery-powered dictionaries that were great. You just type in the word. And
I love that you were talking about Belleville last night.
Yes. Don't know if I pronounced that book properly.
Omo?
Yeah, Omo, right?
Typey?
Typey, yeah, I read that one.
Ground ball right at Murphy. And Bernardina retired, 1 out of the 4th. So Wheeler's retired the leadoff hitter in 3 of the 4 innings, and now Kurt Suzuki will bat. Suzuki batted with the infield in the 2nd and hit one that just went off Quintana his glove for a base hit. So Suzuki, who had 3 hits yesterday, fighting out of a slump, a base hit his first time up today. 4 for 8 now in this series. The Nationals go home to play Milwaukee after the game today. What a dreadful year it's been for the Brewers, who just can't get any pitching at all, and yet have a couple of the most dynamic players in the National League. Fastball strike 1-1.
Oh, Ryan Braun's going to be on the DL. He's not going to play against the Mets.
But Gene Segura, the shortstop, having a terrific year, and the ex-Met Carlos Gomez has been wonderful playing center field, one of the best players in the league. Up and away, 2-1 to Suzuki. The Mets, there are 3 teams in the National League Mets haven't played yet. Milwaukee, Arizona, they come here tomorrow, and the Giants. Ripped down the left field line, a foul ball. Nice grab. That's why you bring your glove. Zach Wheeler has struck out 4 over the first 3 1/3. And the slider misses. 3-2 to Suzuki. Slow ground ball. Right hurries in. 2 out. So 2 up and 2 set aside, and now the pitcher Gonzalez will bat. Gio tried to bunt his first time up and struck out in doing so.
And a very, very nice crowd today at the ballpark. Kind of overcast skies.
Well, the crowd is large and had a large buzz in it when the game began, but the 4-run second has taken a little starch out of the gathering. Quintanilla right near the bag at second. Throws out Gonzalez. 3 ground ball outs for Wheeler in a 1-2-3 inning. New York Mets baseball is brought to you by Chrysler, imported from Detroit. Middle of the 4th, 5-0 Nationals. Enjoying a day at the ballpark. Hot dogs, bobbleheads, the whole deal. First game, his too. First game at Citi Field for Zach Wheeler. It's not gone nearly as well as he would have hoped. A 4-run second inning and a home run by Jason Worth in the third, putting a crimp in Zach's day.
Nothing like a day game at a ballpark.
See, now I'm looking at the Nathan's card, and I'm thinking of Kobayashi on Thursday, stuffing all those hot dogs on his grill. And all those other competitors in the hot dog eating contest. Joey Chestnut in the group. I don't know. That spectator sport. It's an interesting concept.
No. Gio Gonzalez working with a 5-0 lead as we go to the bottom of the fourth. David Wright will lead off. David drew a walk in the first inning. Since then, Gonzalez has retired 8 in a row and struck out 5 of the 8. You know, we were having a conversation yesterday about Ryan Zimmerman and how upright he plays at third base. And I asked David about it today, talking about setup for a third baseman. And he said he's always liked to be lower, because he feels as though on the hard hit ball it gets him in position to make that step and dive play. But he said something interesting about Zimmerman, who stands more upright. He said, if I stood more upright, I'd probably have more range on balls hit to my left, which I think is interesting.
I always like to take that step and a half in and get set right at the point of contact.
David drives one to deep left center field. That'll go up the gap and one hop to the wall. Well, on his bobblehead day, David has a walk, and now a ringing double, his 17th of the year.
Well, David's been really in a groove, really swinging the bat well. Down and in, he likes that ball down and drives this ball into the 385. It's a long way out there. 17th double.
So the Mets have their second hit off Gio Gonzalez. And now Marlon Byrd has struck out his first time up.
It's a bit surprising. Marlon has 70 strikeouts for as good a season as he's having, and 218 at bat. That's a lot of whiffs.
Well, the Mets as a team have struck out 662 times coming into the day, the third highest total in the National League.
Now John Buck has 70 strikeouts. He struck out once. David has 60. Those are too many strikeouts for David, but you know, that's just what it is. It is what it is now with David.
And Ike Davis, before he got sent down, was up among the league leaders in strikeouts.
Right. I mean, David's a 100 strikeout guy now. That's all there is to it.
So is just about everybody.
Yep.
The game has changed in that regard.
Yes, it has.
We're about to finish another month, so we'll see what happens in June. But the last 8 calendar months in baseball have been the 8 highest strikeout months in Major League history.
If I remember correctly, Ike almost had 80 strikeouts when he was sent down. He was like 77 or 75.
Oh, 2 to Bird, and he moves him back 1-2. Let's check in with Kevin Burkhardt. Kevin?
Well, you talked about the strikeouts, guys. Dave Hudgens today told me that he thinks that Bird's approach has gotten better, especially the last month, trying to see some better pitches, not swing at the bad ones. But the other thing he said was interesting, Keith. He talked about one thing that Bird does that he's noticed since he's gotten here, and he goes down on strikes here, is that he likes to hit the ball in the air. He wants to hit the ball in the air. He said it's something that I haven't touched. He came here with that. Not a lot of guys. It's not something you teach a lot of guys. Not a lot of guys like to do it, but he's a strong guy, and he can do it. He said the one thing that I try to watch for him is, A, make sure he doesn't get too long, and also he likes to kind of keep his hands close to the vest when he swings. I just kind of keep an eye on those things. But, Keith, that's not something that I hear from a hitting coach too often.
No, and I mean, well, Marlon's got a home run threat too. He's very strong, so I think when the ball's upstairs, Marlon knows how to lift it, Kev. And if you're going to hit home runs, that pitch upstairs is the one that you can just kind of alter your swing a tad, just a slight uppercut, and hit more long ball.
There's Josh Satin with a runner at second and 1 out. just to follow up on the note on Bird. Said he struck out over 70 times now in half a season. He has never struck out 100 times in a season in his career.
Really?
So this would be the first.
Well, he's going to get there.
0-2 to Satin, and it's down with a breaking ball, 1-2. By the way, watching Marlin play right field every day, did you notice who got designated for assignment by the Kansas City Royals today?
I did.
The former Met Jeff Francoeur,
who had some good years over in Kansas City, didn't he? Did he have a 2 years
his
ago?
first year in Kansas City, yeah, 2 years ago. He played very well at 20 homers, 87 RBIs at 285.
Now, designated for assignment means he is going down to the minors?
It means that they have to do something with him in the next 10 days. So either they'll trade him or release him, I'm sure. The interesting thing about Frenchie is he got off to such a great start in his career with the Braves. A couple of 100 RBI seasons in his first 2 full years, but he's never been able to perform at that level since.
No.
But, and he's only 29 years old, he brings great defense to the table.
Great arm.
And as delightful a personality as there is in the game.
Well, the Braves thought they had a cornerstone for their future, their ball club with Francoeur after those first couple of years.
Satin chops one for the shortstop Desmond. And that's the second out as Wright goes to third.
I mean, Gary, you're right about Francoeur's personality. He was certainly a pleasure to be around every day. And after all, how many right fielders in Major League Baseball do you know that buy an entire section of fans' pizzas like he did in Oakland? I mean, that should go for something, right?
He is one of a kind. I mean, he really is. And, you know, he was a delight to have here. And the problem is that the numbers just have not gone the way they needed to for Francoeur to continue to be a contributor. It'll be interesting to see whether he gets another chance.
Well, Francoeur's stay here in New York pretty much mirrors his career. He got off to a good start with the Mets, and remember he had that horrible slump where he couldn't buy a hit. That 1 year, I forget, that he had a serious offer.
Well, I mean, he spent 9 years in the big leagues now, and he's just never been selective enough to be able to be a consistently good hitter.
Well, he's like John Buck. He had a very awkward swing. He swung hard every pitch, and I think they finally just found out his weakness. They finally figured him out.
Juan Lagares would be next. Buck struck out his first time up. One of 6 strikeouts for Gio Gonzalez, who's working with a 5-0 lead in the 4th. Works outside to Buck, 1-2. And the curveball hit to short. Desmond gets in front of it. And that retires the side. Leadoff double by Wright, but he is stranded. 4 scoreless innings for Gio Gonzalez. Zach Wheeler back to the mound, down 5-0. Wheeler hoping to continue what he started in the last inning when he retired the Nationals 1-2-3. It's one of those outings where it's hard to finish your day with a good feeling because you've already given up 5 runs, and yet Mets will be keeping their eye on him to see how he responds after that.
Well, he had a 1-2-3 first inning with 2 strikeouts. Got off to a great start, but they tagged him in that second inning, Garrett. 4 hits and 4 runs.
Now third time around the batting order, Denard Span, who doubled with 2 out in the second inning to drive in a run. That scored 4 in the second, added a Jason Worth home run in the third. Span, Rendon, and Zimmerman up against Wheeler in the 5th. And Span takes a fastball for a strike. Denard Span now 3 for 9 in this series. In his first 2 starts, left-hand batters were only 2 for 15 against Wheeler. But LaRoche homered and Span doubled in that big second inning. And spikes that fastball 2-1. Shallow center. Lagares coming on. He'll have to play it on a hop. So Span has a leadoff hit to start the Nationals' 5th inning. The recovery room is brought to you by New York Presbyterian. Amazing things are happening here. Some of the Mets injured players. Tim Burdack coming back from capsule surgery, continues pitching and trying to get back to New York. He hopes to be back by the end of July. Henry Mejia starting the Gulf Coast League, just beginning his rehab. And Ruben Tejada has now played 2 games on his rehab assignment down in Florida, coming back from a quad injury. Anthony Rendon is 0 for 2 today, 0 for 9 in this series, and now 0 for his last 14. On the corner, 0-1. Let's also have Pedro Feliciano working his way back from that horrible food poisoning thing that knocked him out for a month. Problem with Pedro is that his velocity just isn't where they want it to be.
Right.
Coming back from all the shoulder problems he's had the last 2 years.
We saw that in spring training.
If I had to guess, I would think that Burdack might be back before Feliciano, which is remarkable because, you know, Burdack had that capsule surgery that Johan Santana had, that Chris Young had, and he's trying to make it back in record time. Of course, when you're 39 years old, the clock's ticking. That one goes to the backstop, and Span will go to second. So a wild pitch charge to Wheeler, and a runner in scoring position for the Nats.
Well, slider here, and Buck just didn't get a chance to get after it.
1-2 to Rendon, with Zimmerman waiting on deck. Fouls it away. Rendon fouls back the fastball. Is it alarming, and should it be, that Wheeler's fastball has been coming in at a much lower velocity than it did in his first 2 starts and than it did in the first inning today?
Well, it begs the question. Maybe we'll ask Dan Warthen tomorrow. Maybe the writers will ask Terry if that's what they want to back him off on the fastball.
Strike 3 called. He painted the inside corner to Rendon. 5th strikeout for Wheeler. That's the first out of the inning.
Well, that's what Wheeler needs to do. He throws hard, the inside fastball. He hasn't been keeping the hitters honest inside, particularly the lefties. Tied him up.
So 1 out in the inning, and now Ryan Zimmerman, who's been up twice and grounded to short both times. Span at second and 1 out. That's starting to get their bullpen going behind Wheeler. And there's a fastball strike.
Well, Zimmerman got the big hit in that first game. The bases loaded, a double late in the 8th inning that tied the ball game. There's Ardsma up for the Mets, and you know, Mets be looking at a sweep here if it wasn't for that.
There's a slider for a strike. 0-2 to Zimmerman. Odd to see Ardsma up in the 5th inning. Of late, he has been the Mets' best reliever outside of Bobby Parnell, and it appeared as though he had begun to earn later inning work. So it's a little strange to see him up in the 5th inning. But you know, Terry has said all along, other than Parnell, nobody has a role in that bullpen, and I guess he's sticking to that.
Well, the one guy that's not going to be worked today is going to be Torres. He went 2 yesterday. He's going to have himself a rest. So the bullpen's pretty much, they're all available.
Wheeler ahead 0-2. And Zimmerman won't bite on the high fastball. Well, in his first 2 starts, Wheeler's fastball averaged 95.7. We saw him hit 97 a couple of times early in this game, but most of the time he's been 92 to 94. Here's the 1-2, and Zimmerman takes inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, I've seen a lot of pitchers that I've played against, faced, that threw hard and a little on the wild side, and they back them off a little bit, and it's a fine line how much you back them off. What makes them difficult to hit is the fact that they've got that good fastball. If you back them off too much.
To center field, Lagares a long way back, but he gets there to make the catch. Man, he's fun to watch. Span tags at second and goes to third. Lagares, who when he first came up played deep, has been playing shallow, and he goes back on the ball about as well as anybody.
Well, he can play center field. You can see top of your screen. He kind of broke to the right a little bit, then realized it was hit a little bit better. Piece of cake right in front of the track.
I mean, he's automatic out there. 2 out. Span is now at third, and now Adam LaRoche. We got the festivities started for the Nationals today with a leadoff home run in the 2nd inning. His 12th home run of the year.
First ball fastball hitter. Lead him off with a changeup. Now, to me, Gary, it's 1-0 count. It's still first ball fastball hitter up the plate here. You're 1-0. It's like the first pitch. You can really even now sit on a fastball 1-0. Now there's an open base here, but you got a young pitcher who might make a mistake.
And Buck able to knock that ball down.
Here's the home run. First pitch fastball, belt high down the middle, and that's was crushed. Home run number 12 for LaRoche.
David playing off the line, and Span taking as many liberties as he wants coming off third. And you wonder with a young pitcher whether that is distracting to him.
Well, the Mets will cost the Mets a ball game on the last road trip when the wild pitch got far from Buck. That the runner scored from third. That would have David had been closer, but would not have been able to score. It cost the Mets a ball game. Is that in Atlanta?
Yes. There's ball 4, and so a semi-intentional walk to LaRoche. Second walk of the day issued by Wheeler. And now runners at first and third for Jason Worth. And Terry Collins is going to make a double switch. So Wheeler's day is going to end right here after 4 2/3 innings. Andrew Brown is coming into the game, and the Mets will bring David Ardsma out of the bullpen. So Wheeler's third start is his shortest to date. David Met fans have been waiting for since Wheeler was acquired 2 summers ago. Not a good day for Zach Wheeler in his home debut, but he gets a nice hand as it comes off. Bad day at the office for Zach Wheeler in his first home start. Comes out after 4 2/3 with 5 runs on the board against him and responsible for 2 more. David Ardsma will try and save those for him. Andrew Brown comes in to play right field. He'll bat 9th. And Jason Worth, first man up against Ardsma, 0-1.
Well, Ardsma's done a good job since the Mets picked him up and brought him up. You see the numbers right there. Started out with AAA with the Marlins. Was released in mid-May.
That release at his request, as he had an opt-out in his contract. Mets signed him the next day, and the Mets, I think, have found themselves a pitcher who's ready to reclaim his career in David Ardsma. He has saved 69 games over 2 seasons in Seattle in 2009 and 2010. Here's the 0-2 to Worth, and it comes up and in 1-2.
Well, I remember that photo. I remember when he had his beard that full and his hair that long.
Almost Johnny Damon-esque in his best caveman impression.
Like a mountain man.
Now the 1-2, and Worth fouls back the fastball. Ian Desmond would be next. Worth has a walk and a home run today. His 8th home run of the year. Span is at third. LaRoche at first with 2 down. And Ardsma bounces the slider. 2-2. Ardsma pitched Friday night. Remember, he came in after Matt Harvey left in the 8th inning, gave up a leadoff hit, retired the next 2 batters, and it was after that that the deluge began against the Mets bullpen. And Harvey wound up with a no decision in that game. The Nats rallied to win it in the 9th. And Worth goes down swinging on the fastball, so Ardsma comes in to strike out Worth and strand a pair. Halfway through now at Citi Field, 5-0 Nats. Tri-State BMW Centers. Well, just for some context, Matt Harvey's third major league start was in San Diego last August. That didn't go well.
No, it did not.
Similar numbers to the numbers Zach Wheeler put up today in his third big league start. Juan Lagares leads off in the sixth inning, hits one out to right center, and Jason Worth has it lined up. One long out to start the fifth. So one pitch and one retired, and now Omar Quintanilla will come to bat. Gio Gonzalez has given up just 2 hits, walked 1 and struck out 6 over his first 4 1/3. So your impressions after watching Zach Wheeler this afternoon?
Well, I'm a bit surprised at the drop off of the velocity in his fastball. In his first part of the game, the first inning, when he had the 2 strikeouts, Gary, he was throwing 96, 97, and all of a sudden we saw 93, 94, 92 kind of backing off the fastball. But I still see the same thing that I saw basically in Chicago. He's erratic with his secondary pitches. I say the heck with his changeup. When I say secondary pitches, his curve and slider.
And maybe through 3 or 4 changeups this game, and it's really not an effective pitch.
No, it's really his fourth pitch, and he just needs to hone that breaking pitch. That's all there is to it.
Now, I guess the question is, how hard is that for a young pitcher to do at this level when you're facing big league hitters every 5 days?
It's a much tougher road, particularly playing here in New York with all the media attention. And he's had his share, more than his share of hype. And it adds a little more extra burden on the player. It would be, I think, better maybe for him to hone his skills in AAA. But it's only 3 starts.
And I think different organizations have different views of that too. There are plenty of pitchers, and Greg Maddux and Tom Glavine come to mind, guys who took their lumps their first year or so in the major leagues and figured it out at this level. And for a team that is trying to grow, as long as his confidence stays high, there's nothing wrong with him figuring it out at this level.
The other side of the coin is Ike. It was a long time the Mets stayed with Ike. I was concerned about Ike losing his confidence, and you can't tell me he didn't. And I've never seen a team stick so long with a player as they did with Ike.
But isn't it different for a guy like Ike who had enjoyed big league success before, as opposed to a kid just coming up from the minors?
When you have a year like that, Ike had really. Has he had a consistent season from April to the end of September? He has not. So he's had basically one terrific second half, and so you worry about confidence level. It's much more difficult up here to be doing this and teaching him how to learn to get his breaking stuff over, let alone worried about maybe I've tipped my pitches. Is that cluttering his mind?
Andrew Brown almost took out Eric Young in the on-deck circle. 2-2. I'm going to be very interested to hear from Zach and from Dan Warthen after this game about the velocity issue. Whether, as you said, maybe they backed him off, or whether he just didn't have it today.
See, the one pitcher that comes to mind that went backed off was Randy Lurch. If you remember, the left-hander for the Phillies back in the early 80s. And he came up throwing bullets with a curveball and first 2 years, and I'd rather face Carlton than face Randy Lurch. And I had success off both of them, but Randy Lurch was a hard day at the office. And then the third year, for some reason, he backed off a couple miles per hour in his fastball and made it easy for me. Well, much easier for me.
We've seen it with Bobby Parnell the last 2 years, not throwing 100 anymore, throwing more like 95 and being more effective with it.
There's a difference real quickly between 100 and backing off to 95 as opposed to 97 backing off to 92.
5 in the books at Citi Field, 5-0 Nats.
Nationals up on the Mets 5-0 on this Sunday afternoon. Zach Wheeler's debut did not go as planned. His home debut, that is, didn't go as planned for him today. 4 1/3 innings, allowing all 5 runs. And after this one, it'll be the Mets, a 4-game series against the Diamondbacks here at Citi Field starting tomorrow. And you look at the D-backs, you know, I think about March 30th, guys, with them, because that is when a very underrated signing in Major League Baseball happened, and Desmond gets drilled. Wonder if that had anything to do with David Wright, fellas.
Boy, you'd have to think so after Wright got hit yesterday and flipped early today by Gio Gonzalez. Ardsma greeting Desmond, the Nats' hottest hitter, with a pitch in the back.
Not so sure.
Anyway, guys, as I was saying, March 30th, that's when the Diamondbacks signed Paul Goldschmidt, their young first baseman, to a 5-year, $32 million deal with pretty limited experience. Came up, had his first full season last year after some time in 2011, and really had a nice year. Well, this year already, he's one shy of last year's home run total with 19. Last year he had 20. He leads the National League in RBIs in 67, and that $32 million looks like it's the best spent money ever. Arizona's starting pitching has had some issues other than Patrick Corbin, the lefty, who's been great. He'll pitch on Tuesday as Desmond takes off, and he's just in there. Buck's throw not quite in time. But Gary, one more thing about the Diamondbacks. You look at their offense, they've been pretty decent this year, but they're terrific late in games. They've scored 128 runs, 7th inning on, probably why they have 22 come from behind wins.
Well, Desmond gets his revenge with the stolen base after getting drilled.
Yes, I've seen that happen many a time.
His 8th of the year. Well, the thing about Arizona is they've been able to sit on top of a bad division for most of the season. They're only 4 games over 500, and they've kind of faded lately because their starting pitching has been really bad. I mean, Kevin mentioned Patrick Corbin, 9-0, but their starters have not had a win in their last 21 games. But everybody else in the division struggling, most notably the Giants, who've now lost 6 in a row.
The Giants are really struggling with their pitching. They lost Angel Pagan for the season.
And the Padres have been the surprise of that division. Remember, they began the season here, and they got off to a dreadful start. But they're hanging in there, just a game under 500.
You know, they tend to do that under Bud Black, don't they? They get off bad, and then they have a good second half.
The other thing is now with Yasiel Puig playing the way he is, and with the rest of the division having not performed well, the Dodgers, despite their horrible start, are right there. They're only 5 games out. Pulled out a game in the bottom of the 9th against the Phillies yesterday. 2-2 to Bernardina, and it's fouled back. But the other thing about Arizona, I mean, Goldschmidt has gotten, rightfully so, a lot of the attention, but Gerardo Parra in that leadoff spot has done a great job for them. Has really become a star player, won a Gold Glove, and now is producing offensively as well. And they got their closer J.J. Putz back from the DL yesterday, and that will definitely help them as well. Ardsma trying to put away Bernardina, who's flied out and grounded out 0 for 2.
No, Ardsma throws hard. I tell you what, seems to be in full recovery mode. He's got a little bit of an unusual delivery, arm action. Almost slings it like a slinger.
Now the 3-2, and Bernardino lines it into right. Brown comes on, makes the slide and the catch. Nice play by Andrew Brown to take a base hit away from Bernardino for the first down.
I'll hang with them for Bernardino right here. Nice play by Brown. And most importantly, as far as the Mets are concerned, Desmond did not advance.
So now with 1 out, Kurt Suzuki, who drove in a run with a base hit in the 2nd inning, grounded out in the 4th, 1 for 2. Nationals 5 runs and 6 hits. The Mets no runs and 2 hits. Zach Wheeler went 4 2/3 in his home debut. 5 runs, 6 hits, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, a wild pitch, and 2 home runs. Line over short, and Quintanilla back to grab it. Ball hung up for Omar, and that's the second out. Both Brandon Nimmo for the All-Star Futures game to be played Sunday, July 14th at Citi Field. Vote now through tonight at 11:59 p.m. at MLB.com/futures finalists.
Is that the deadline?
I believe that is the deadline. So you don't want to get it there.
So you won't
a minute past.
This is the last day you have to read that.
Yeah, that would be true.
Okay. I'm happy for you. Is Gio Gonzalez swinging and missing?
The concept is interesting, right? The futures game is players that nobody's ever seen.
Right. I know. I understand. It's. What are you going to do? We'll stay focused on the game.
Gonzalez pops one up. Quintanilla trailing out, and Lagares calls him off, and that retires the side. Nice inning for Arnsma. Drilled Desmond and worked around that. 5-0 Nats in the sixth. It's 4th of July sales event. Ballpark close to capacity on a Sunday afternoon with David Wright's bobblehead being given away and the excitement of Zach Wheeler's first home start.
Can I make one observation on the new ballpark here? And it's, I guess we can still call it new.
5th year.
It is much easier to get out of the stadium than it was at Shea. I don't know why, but it just seems when you have a crowd here. Shea, we used to have to wait after a game for over an hour or a little over an hour to let the people get out. Now, granted, we had 55,000 people in the ballpark filling it up every night, but we were stuck in the clubhouse, which was fine, for around an hour and 10 minutes. Then we get in our cars and have to go home. And we leave right after the ball game, and I get right on the Whitestone Expressway to the Cross Island to the LIE. Boom! I'm happy as a clown. Was there a reason for that?
Well, there are 15,000 fewer seats in this stadium.
I understand that. Yes.
So that would have something to do with it. So even when it's full, you only have 40,000 people to contend with instead of 55,000. Third time around the batting order for the Mets against Gio Gonzalez on a first pitch changeup to Eric Young. Young is grounded to short and struck out. There's Keith's car.
Yeah, right.
Well, you couldn't get up space any closer to the stadium?
I tell you what, I'm out right next to yours. I have to make sure I don't chip your pane on your door when I get out of the car.
It's all right, because my dog already clawed my upholstery.
Be very careful.
Daniel Murphy on deck, then David Wright in the home sixth against Gonzalez, who's allowed just 2 hits. 2-1 to Young, who started the day with an 8-game hitting streak. Gonzalez trying to make it back-to-back wins after going a month and a half without one, mostly because of poor run support. But his year has been getting better and better. And there's a nice fastball away, 2-2. He had a rough April, got better in May, and even better in June.
A little late sink fastball away. Gio's been staying ahead of the count. He's primarily a fastball pitcher, Gary. You're going to get fastballs off of him.
71% of the time he throws that fastball. And he gets him with a fastball. Strikeout number 7 for Gio Gonzalez.
That's got a lot of putt right down Broadway. Just beat him.
So 1 out and nobody on. Now Daniel Murphy, who has one of the Mets' 2 hits today, singled to center, stole a base back in the first, struck out in the third. Murph 5 for 12 in this series. Well, he throws predominantly fastball, and with a 5-run lead, even more so.
Well, Gonzalez struck out 11 Phillies 2 starts ago over 7 innings. That's his season high.
There's a curveball in for a strike.
And he seems to be, oh, you don't want to do that catch. You got a pitcher out there working. It's my back.
Gonna hurt my back.
Come on, let's go, catch.
Suzuki would like to have that one back. That was pretty funny.
It was. The reaction was good. I liked it. He's a good kid. I tell you, Gio, I had a chat with him yesterday. 2 days ago, the opening of the series, he went out of his way to shake my hand and say hello, which doesn't happen very much today. I don't know if it's because I'm too harsh up here, or I think it's because no one knows who the heck I am anymore.
It's because you shaved. Line to left. Over comes Bernardina to dive and make the catch.
Hang with the Murph.
You know, Bernardina had a base hit taken away by Andrew Brown in the last half inning, and he returns the favor to Murphy.
Hit it too good, didn't he? Just hit it too good. That's just good hitting. And sometimes, I can always say, Gare, when you got a pitcher out there walking the ballpark, there's 8 gloves out there, and the ball might find one of them.
Well, now David Wright, who's been the lone bright spot for the Mets today on his bobblehead day, a walk and a double in his 2 plate appearances. Drove one to left center for a 2-base hit his last time up. And he pulls one foul. I was asking David today about his amateur days as a shortstop. Look at the first pitch, strikes to Gio Gonzalez. You know, David played a year in high school with B.J. Upton, and he also played on a travel team with B.J. And they were both infielders at the time. Grounded down to third, and Zimmerman makes the off-balance throw, and he gets it. I said, who was a better shortstop, you or B.J.? He said, well, look who's still playing the infield.
Touche.
That was the answer.
I put you in your place.
5-0 Nats. When you watch Francis, Linda, and the rest of the Pix 11 morning news crew, you get more of what you want in the morning. More news, more weather, more fun. The Pix 11 morning news starting at 4 a.m. The results of our Chevy text poll. We asked, what are you going to be cooking on the 4th of July? It's an overwhelming majority. A runaway, a landslide for the conventional hamburgers and hot dogs.
Well, they're not as messy as the ribs. You get that barbecue sauce on that chicken, and you get all of your fingers on your face. Terrible.
So what? What's wrong with that? It's a day off. You're allowed to be messy. It's like cotton candy. No, never mind. Josh Edgen will pitch for the Mets in the 7th inning. Edgen comes in to face Denard Span, to whom he gave up a double in that momentous 8th inning on Friday night. So a rematch here. Span 2 for 3 today, and he takes a strike. Span, Rendon, and Zimmerman for the Nationals in the top of the 7th. They scored all 5 of their runs in the 2nd and 3rd innings against Zach Wheeler, who lasted 4 2/3 in his home debut. Slider popped up into shallow left, and Eric Young comes on. And this time Edgen gets the best of Span, 1 away. So 1 out and nobody on. Now Rendon, who was 0 for 3, struck out twice and grounded out. David Ardsma went an inning and a 3rd in relief. Allowed no runs and no hits. Hit a batter. Struck out a batter. Terry Collins continues to get dividends from Ardsma. And Rendon hits one foul down the right field side. And out of play. Well, the Mets welcome in the Diamondbacks for 4 games. Then they make their last road trip before the All-Star break to Milwaukee, San Francisco, and Pittsburgh. The Pirates won their 8th in a row last night.
How about them?
First major league team to 50 wins this year. And probably even more important for the folks in Pittsburgh, as Rendon flies one to right. This one should be playable for Brown. And onto the warning track to grab it, 2 out. Their 5th straight sellout at PNC Park.
Great.
They've got one of the best ballparks in baseball, and finally a team worthy of filling it up.
That's wonderful. Clint Hurdle, I mean, how about kudos for Clint. Just found a home in Pittsburgh. Took Colorado Rockies to the World Series where they got swept by the Red Sox. But my goodness, talk about the leading candidate for manager of the year.
Now they have to try and hope to sustain it, which they couldn't do last year, but they've got a good young team with solid pitching. And they've taken the lead over the Cardinals in that hotly contested National League Central.
Look at that. That's 80 games. They're on a pace right now for, what, 100 wins.
Well, those 3 teams going to battle it out all year. Pirates, Cardinals, and Reds. They might all 3 make the postseason.
And what's wonderful about that, they're obviously they're in division. They'll be playing each other in September. It's going to go down to the wire.
Edgen ahead on Zimmerman 0-2. Zimmerman 0 for 3 today. Tried to backdoor the slider and missed. 1-2.
Not a bad try. Attempt. Excuse me. It's a better word.
Just one more syllable.
That's right. We try to keep things concise up here.
Try is a word in rugby.
Oh, really?
Yes. But you can always try. 2-2. Up and in. Full count to Zimmerman.
A little bit now. Coming in on the plate. Much what happened to David that first at bat. Nothing wrong with that.
Again, the 3-2 from Edgin, and Zimmerman hits it down to first where Satin plays it. Side retired, so Edgin comes in, throws a 1-2-3, top of the 7th. Stretch time at Citi Field. That's 5 Mets nothing. New York Mets baseball is brought to you by Chevy. Keep rolling on with the impressive fuel economy of Chevy Cruze. Find yours at ChevyOffers.com. Play of the game brought to you by Mazda. If it's not worth driving, it's not worth building. Andrew Brown with the sliding catch to rob Roger Bernardina in the 6th inning.
And actually, Bernardino came back the next inning and robbed Murphy of a line drive base hit. Same type of catch.
Gio Gonzalez working on a 2-hit shutout. Zach Luntz will pinch hit, leading off in the 7th. It's not a double switch. If it were, then Luntz would be a twofer. Luntz, Satin, and Buck up for the Mets in the bottom of the 7th. Stands up and stretching. I love that the Mets have their own 7th inning stretch too. Lazy Mary. Nobody else has Lazy Mary.
These are the diehard Metsy fans. Nice crowd today. David Wright bobblehead day.
Fans hoping the Mets can get something working late in this game against Gio Gonzalez, who's been in firm control. Got in a little trouble in the 1st inning, couple of men on, but got out of that and has been wonderful since. Has retired 17 of the last 18 batters. Zach Luntz pinch hitting, fouls off the first pitch he sees. Luntz got a start in Colorado on Thursday, went 1 for 3 and a walk in that game, just the 2nd game he started in his career. And that backdoor curveball misses. 1-1 to Luntz.
2nd pinch hit for Lutz this season.
So it's called up and Lucas Duda went on the disabled list. Duda has not really done anything yet other than just take rehab on that strained intercostal muscle. So it's going to be a while for Lucas. And Gio works him away and he went around. That's a rough call.
Ball out. Nart. Excuse me. Let's see. That's close.
Gio at 100 pitches and comes inside the Lutz 3-2.
Oh, he thought he had it.
He's walked only one today. That came in the first inning. Came into the day third in the National League in walks allowed. But he's been throwing strikes this afternoon, particularly after getting a lead early on. And he walks Lutz, so the Mets have the leadoff man on in the 7th. First time all day that Gonzalez has issued a leadoff walk.
I think Gonzalez lost a little bit of his concentration there. There's Davy Johnson. I think he thought the pitch prior he had strike 3 on left on inside corner. I think it let it bother him.
He can be a little emotional on the mound at times, and sometimes that can cost him.
He's Spanish. That's the famous shot in the dark line, you know, with Peter Sellers, which was Clouseau. Shot in the dark with Elkie Summers, who was absolutely gorgeous in that film. Oh, I was in the freshman in high school, I believe, maybe 8th grade. My first look at Elkie Summers, I about had a heart attack.
Here's Josh Satin. Pulls one toward the hole, a base hit. Lutz pulls in at second, so the Mets have something working here in the 7th. Satin is now hitting 6 straight games, just the 3rd hit of the day for the Mets.
Well, the Mets trying to get something going here. Satin continues to be in the mix in the middle of things. The last time the Mets had 2 runners on base in an inning was the first inning.
Bob Clippard just beginning to throw in the Washington bullpen as John Buck steps in. And Steve McCanny making a trip to the mound to buy Clippard some time, and Gio was not happy. He was ready to pitch to Buck, and you saw he went behind the mound and screamed into his glove. Was not happy to see the pitching coach's imminent arrival.
Well, this is on orders from Davey, and this is purely, you can see his reaction. Well, I won't repeat what he said.
You don't want to read lips.
But the tactic here is for McCaddy to walk out, let the umpire come get him. Angel Hernandez is on his way out. Don't want to let this game slip away. It's 5-0. Get Clippard ready. This is buying time to get him up. Now, as a professional, Gio's just got to refocus, take a deep breath.
Threw 127 pitches against the Indians in a 2-1 loss back in June 14th. So he's got to calm himself down and get ready to face Buck. That's with their first real opportunity since early in the ball game. Lutz at second, Satin at first, nobody out. And Buck watches wide, ball 1. Juan Lagares waits on deck. And that one nips the corner. A ball and a strike.
Good strike right there. Good pitch to kind of get Buck to roll it over and hit into a double play, which is what Gio wants. To run that sinker down and away, try to get a ground ball.
He's gotten 7 ground ball outs today. And the curveball fouled off. 1-2.
As far as the Mets bench is concerned, they've only got one other right-hander on the bench, and Anthony Recker, their lone catcher. And the 2 left-handers on the bench, Neuenhuis and Valdespin.
They just used Lutz to hit for the pitcher in the 4 spot. Here's the 1-2 to Buck. Fouls back the fastball.
So don't think that Davy Johnson is not aware that, you know, you don't want Valdespin to come up as a pinch hitter, because he's really a threat to, he could hit one out of the ballpark. So you got that Ian Kroll out there. They've used Abad yesterday. There's Jordani. I don't think Davy's going to want any part of Valdespin.
Curveball hit to right center on his horse's span back to the edge of the track to grab it. Tagging at second is Lutz. He'll go to third. Span got a good break on that ball. And gets deep in the gap to retire Buck for the first out.
Well, defense is the name of the game. You won't read about that in the paper, but you know that's the ball hit well in that 390 gap out in right center field, and this man just runs it down easily.
So runners at the corners with one out, and now Juan Lagares, who struck out and hit one fairly deep to right that Worth caught his last time up.
So this is a big out for Gonzalez, with only Recker, a right-hand hitter, out off the bench. Quintanilla is in the on-deck circle. So this is the big out for Gio right now.
That's an 0 for 6 with runners in scoring position today. Can't bat for Quintanilla anyway. You don't have to back up short.
Correct. And you got a lefty-lefty matchup. So this is it. This is the got to be the pitcher's focus here. Gonzalez on Lagares.
One to Lagares, and he runs one inside.
Boy, he got hot there. Umpire behind the plate. Angel Hernandez has not given that inside corner to Gio. And his reaction was he thought he had it. Boy, framed nicely by Suzuki.
Up to 111 pitches now. 2-1 to Lagares, and he foul tips it. Got it up to 95. That's as hard as he's thrown all day.
He's reaching back for something extra, and we just showed you that graphic of the 209 batting average, runners in scoring position, and that's probably one of the reasons why. He knows when to dial it up. Gonzalez. Fastball in.
Now the 2-2, and Lagares punches one, shallow center. Back goes Desmond, and has it for the second out, and the runners have to hold. So Gonzalez jamming Lagares and getting the pop up, and now they're 2 out. So an inning that began promisingly for the Mets now hangs by a thread. First and third and 2 out for Quintanilla.
And Quintanilla coming into the game hitting .233 against lefties in 30 at bats. 0 for 2 today against Gonzalez.
He's fly to left and grounded to second in his 2 at bats. Well, Gonzalez trying to finish his outing on a high note. Lutz at third, Satin at first with 2 out. And Quintanilla takes the curveball outside. Andrew Brown is sitting in the number 9 spot. He's on deck. I have a feeling if Quintanilla keeps this inning going, we'll see Tyler Clippard to pitch to Brown.
And the question will be, will you pinch hit Valdespin? And that's a decision that Davey has to make.
Fastball on the corner.
You've already gone to the mound once. You already had a visit to the mound. No more visits. If you make another visit, you got to make a pitching change.
Well, with Gio at 115, you have to figure they're going to pull him if he doesn't get this batter. And now he's ahead on Quintanilla, 1-2.
Say one thing for Gonzalez. He's been very focused when the Mets have had threats, and there hasn't been that many threats in this game. First inning, of course, at first and second with 1 out. David Wright in the 4th with a leadoff double, and now this inning, he's pitched out of it.
Now the 1-2. Quintanilla fouls back the fastball. He really has dialed it up here in the 7th inning.
Today, you know what? You know this is your last inning, and let it all hang out. I don't mean that literally.
It's just an expression.
Yes, that was a song. Remember, Ray Stevens, wasn't it, that did that song?
2-2. The same guy who did the streak.
Yes.
That's Lynn, the only pitcher who's thrown more pitches than Gonzalez is going to throw today against the Mets. 2-2 to Quintanilla. And Omar strokes one toward the hole on the backhand. Desmond gets the force play to end the inning. Let's get the first 2 men on, but Gonzalez gets through traffic. 7 scoreless for Gio Gonzalez. 5-0 Nats going to the 8th. Gio Gonzalez pitching himself a terrific ball game today, and never better than in that 7th inning when he got himself out of a 1st and 2nd nobody out jam.
Well, where's the handshakes coming in? He's done for the day. And what impressed me is that he really kept the ball down, Gary. Runners on 1st, 2nd, nobody out. He had 3 batters to get out of that inning, and he just kept the ball down. Nicely done.
Brandon Lyon comes on to pitch the top of the 8th for New York.
Well, Lyon's last time out, of course, the first game in this series, had a rough outing, got touched up, gave up the double with the bases loaded to Ryan Zimmerman.
Adam LaRoche leads off the 8th inning for the Nats and takes a curveball outside for ball 1. LaRoche got the scoring started for the Nats today. First pitch that Zach Wheeler threw in the 2nd inning. LaRoche cranked it out of the ballpark for his 12th home run. And the Nats were off and running. They scored 4 in that 2nd inning. Got another home run, this one from Jason Worth in the 3rd, and that's been all that they've needed, with as well as Gio Gonzalez has pitched. So David Johnson has set up for the last 2 innings from his bullpen. Out to left center, long run in for Lagares or Young, and Young with the diving grab. Eric Young coming out of nowhere to catch that pass over the middle. Well, that's the football player.
To look how far he ran for this ball and how far he stretched out for it. Watch how far he slides after the catch.
Well, he called for it. He knew he had it.
I mean, he's gliding along that grass. Look at this. That's a heck of a play.
Brandon Lyon quite appreciative. So LaRoche has denied a base hit, and a fine play by Young. And now Jason Worth, 1 for 2, hit his 8th home run of the year back in the 3rd inning.
Well, we're just about out of June, Gary. Can you believe that's gone by fast? I think the first 3 months of the season. I don't know about you. How do you feel?
I feel as though after today there will be 84 more games.
That's not what I asked you.
But that's how I felt. That's how I feel. You know, this has been it's been a rather crowded week, as I'm sure you're aware. An 11-game road trip finishing up in 3 cities in 3 days, and you know, I know that you got to relax in your garden, so that was quite nice. But you know, and a new team comes in tomorrow that always refreshes things, with the Diamondbacks coming in for their first meeting of the year with the Mets tomorrow. It'll be interesting to watch them. And I think even more so than normal because of what the Diamondbacks did in the offseason, both what they did and what they said about it in trading Justin Upton, one of the most talented players in baseball, and saying that they want it to be the kind of gritty team like their manager Kirk Gibson. And they've played okay, but not great. So it's kind of a test to see how that team functions this year with that kind of philosophy.
Well, we're almost at the halfway mark, like you said, and to be in first place at this point, no matter what your record is, you're on top of your division. You know, you got to feel happy about that. You don't want to be looking up. You want to be looking down at everybody else.
Which is where the Nats expected to be, but are not. Worth lifts one to left center. Long run back for Young in the gap. He won't get this one. It short hops the wall. And Worth pulls it at second base with a 1-out double.
Well, Worth had himself a nice day. He one-handed this ball on a short hop into left center field. That is how strong this guy is. I did not think this ball was going to get out. Watch him let go with one hand. And this ball short hops the wall, and this is a big ballpark. Very strong. It's all on the wrists right there.
That is pretty impressive. I mean, you can understand hitting one that far down the line, but out in the gap like that. So Worth is at second with 1 out, and now Ian Desmond, an RBI double back in the 2nd. He's also hit in the back by a David Aardsma pitch in the 6th inning that may or may not have been retaliation for some pitches inside to David Wright. Ball 1 to Desmond. Ooh, rain is falling.
How about that?
I guess that was inevitable given the forecast today. Just a light, refreshing shower on a humid afternoon.
Boy, it has been some kind of a wet spring. Are we in summer yet?
It's summer now.
Okay,
yes.
so we're starting out now.
A week and a half into summer.
Okay. But it certainly was a wet spring.
Well, if you look at the forecast for the rest of the homestand, there'll be days much like this, warm and humid, chance of shower. Better than that cold rain back in April.
Oh. When you say that was the worst road trip you ever went on, that you and I went on that opening road trip.
That doubleheader in Colorado was the worst day ever. It was. 1-1 to Desmond. That was a good slider by Lyon. 1-2.
Slider.
And if you think it was bad for us, how about all the front office employees of the Rockies that day were out on the field for 8 hours shoveling snow?
Boy, the fire brigade.
It's a sad, sad day. And the Mets got swept in the doubleheader, if you'll recall.
That's right. Russ Francis started the second game. Who was walking the ballpark, about lost it.
Did you say Russ Francis?
Oh, that's a tight end. Excuse me.
It was perfect weather for Russ Francis.
Yes, it was. Tight end for the 49ers and the Patriots.
1-2 to Desmond with Bernardino on deck. And that just misses inside. It's that same inside corner that Angel Hernandez has not wanted to ring up today. Two from Lyon to Desmond. Yeah, that's up and in. 3-2. Zach Wheeler in his first home start today. 4 2/3 innings, 5 runs, 6 hits, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, 2 home runs. Steven Strasburg not pitching in this series.
You know what I'm a little bit surprised about, and I get, I've never understood it, but I mean.
Comes Young, and that's the second out. Everything heading Eric's way in this inning.
You think with all the education about tobacco and how it's not good for you, whether you're chewing or obviously you're smoking, and a lot of the players, pretty much when I played, the percentage of society that smoked, the percentage of a baseball team that smoked. Today, the players don't smoke. Almost to the man, but I'm shocked that there's still a lot of tobacco chewing. I really am. I'm really surprised.
I think it's less than it was, but it's a hard sell for some guys, even though they are educated about it during spring training every year, and people who suffer from the ills that are brought on by chewing tobacco and smokeless tobacco always talk to the players and try and counsel them on just what damage it can do. It's a hard sell.
Yeah, and we've had Tony Gwynn up here has had nothing but problems from chewing tobacco.
Bernardino's 0 for 3 today.
And it's funny how I never liked chewing tobacco, but I obviously smoked, and I realized that when I quit my career, my milieu for smoking was nerves in the dugout, a game. So I knew if I wanted to quit smoking, and I did, that I had to, once I retired, get rid of the smokes. And it took me 3 years to quit. It was the best thing I ever did.
Bernardino hits one down the right field line. Brown toward the corner near the pole, and it's a foul ball.
Oh,
that
boy.
barely missed being a home run.
Boy, Bernardino did not run. Just foul. And that wasn't that far out of here for him to sit and watch. I guess he thought it was foul, but that's too close. There you go. Get on your horse, pal.
Well, Not a problem if it's foul and not a problem if it's a home run. But if it's fair and it's not a home run, that's a big problem.
Yep.
Worth at second with 2 out, and the curveball in for a strike. 2-2 to Bernardino.
Oh, the hanger. Oh, not a hanger. I'm sorry. Just boy, that could have been just kind of broke high on the back door.
Outside in Miami just now, Jeff Mathis just hit a grand slam in the bottom of the 9th, and the Marlins beat the Padres 6-2. Another well-pitched game for the Marlins today. This one by Nate Eovaldi. Last night it was Jacob Turner going the distance. So their young pitchers are starting to pitch very well.
Eovaldi was on the DL, correct?
A long time.
What were his issues?
Down the left field line, near the line, it's a fair ball, bouncing up into the stands for a ground rule double for Bernardino, and he thought it was foul. He was giving up the baseline. Now he could have been called out for that.
Well, isn't the ball dead though once it goes in the out of play again?
Yes, I guess it is.
Yeah.
But he had abandoned the base path and was turning back toward home plate, thinking it was foul. It was fair all the way and called as such. Worth comes in to score to make it 6-0, but watch where Bernardino goes.
I think once the ball's, no, he didn't get out of line, not enough, but even if he got in, say 15 feet further, I think the ball's dead once it's out of play.
So Bernardino gets credit for an RBI double, and the Nats tack on a run and lead it 6-0. Here's Kurt Suzuki, 1 for 3, had an RBI single back in the second. It was a productive at bat for Bernardino. He wound up with an RBI double, but his judgment of fair or foul during that at bat was a little bit off.
On both flanks.
Right. Down the right field line and down the left field line. Chad Tracy on deck to pinch hit for the Nats if Suzuki keeps the inning going. And the curve ball hit in the air down the left field line, back toward the corner, and that ball is out of here. Kurt Suzuki adds a 2-run homer for some icing. His 3rd home run of the year, and the Nats now lead it 8-0. So Brandon Lyon, who struggled the other night, giving up the 3-run double to Ryan Zimmerman, has given up a 3 spot in the 8th inning today. So 2 doubles and a 2-run homer, and the Nats have 3 runs home in the 8th.
Hanging breaking ball. Yes, sir. Inner half. So this pretty much kind of puts the nail in the coffin here. We've seen 8-0 leads dwindle late, but they're rare.
Much of the big crowd today between the score and the light rain now heading toward the exits. Tracy pops one up in foul ground, and that will go out of play.
3 home runs for the Nats today.
The Nats now with 8 runs and 9 hits. 7 of their 9 hits have been for extra bases, 4 doubles and the 3 home runs. And Tracy takes it low. Lyon having trouble putting this inning to bed. He had 2 out and a runner at second, but Bernardino hit the ground rule double and Suzuki the 2-run homer, and now he's behind on Tracy 3-1 with Denard Span on deck. And he walked him. So Tracy is on. There's nobody up behind Lyon in the bullpen. It's up to him to try and finish this off, although that's about to change. Somebody getting up now down there.
This might be one of those games that Ron Darling said when Davey Johnson came out in the blowout. game and he couldn't get anybody out. Came out the mound and said, "Well, Ron, I got no one up in that bullpen. You're going to have to find a way out of this on your own." I'll never forget that. Was so.
Well, Scott Rice so heavily used. You hate to use him in a blowout like this, but it's either that or probably go to a position player to pitch the 9th inning of this game. The way things are going. Here's Denard Span, who's 2 for 4 today, and we've seen a lot of that lately. You know, other teams in late and blowout situations using position players. Notably, Skip Schumacher for the Dodgers the other night, his 2nd scoreless inning of the year for Don Mattingly.
Sign him up.
The best position player I ever saw pitch was Desi Relaford. Played for the Mets in this was 2001, 2002. And Bobby Valentine brought him in to pitch in a blowout game, and Desi threw 93. High heat. Struck people out. Good enough that Bobby V, after that outing, said that, you know, he might use him again in a situation where the game was somewhat more on the line. Never happened, but he could have. Desi was an infielder by trade. Spent a lot of time with the Phillies before he came to the Mets. Here's the 0-2. And knocked down by Buck, who's had a busy day. 1-2 to Span. Mets have also had some horrid outings by position players. Worst I ever saw was Derek Bell. He was throwing 65 miles an hour.
Really?
Yeah. He was in San Diego.
BP.
It was ugly. Couldn't throw strikes either.
Well, my experience of facing a everyday player in a blowout was Tommy Hutton, who was with the Phillies, and he tried to drop a 3-2 curveball on me, and I hit a 3-run home run off him in right center field at Old Busch Stadium.
3-2 curveball.
Yeah, he tried to trick me.
I'm sure you remind him of that.
Oh, we laugh about it all the time.
Tommy's now a broadcaster for the Marlins.
Span rips one down the line. That's another extra base hit for the Nats, and they are just cleaning up on Brandon Lyon. They'll hold Tracy at third. The 4th extra base hit of the inning. A double for Span, his 2nd double and 3rd hit of the game.
Well, Andrew Brown here has got to throw the cutoff man. The run could have scored, even though it's a blowout game. Murph's down the line as a cutoff. This is in a double. We got to know the runner here. Span's to be an automatic double. Dan Warthen coming out to the mound. You're not getting that ball till it's off the wall. It's an automatic double. You're not going to throw anybody out. You got a runner that's trying to advance in Tracy. Murph is down the right field line as the cutoff. That's where the throw went. You're not going to cut this guy. That's an automatic. That's a stand-up for Span.
So it's turning into a brutal inning for Brandon Lyon. 3 doubles, a home run, and a walk. 32 pitches deep and still not done. Dan Warthen out to trying to provide some counsel, but right now all you can say is get an out.
Well, he's got Rendon up here, who has not got a hit in this series. 0 for 11.
0 for 4 today with a couple of strikeouts. 2nd and 3rd and 2 out. I think where this inning might have been, and Eric Young now made that diving catch on the Roche to start the inning. 8 extra base hits for the Nationals today among their 10 hits.
4 in this inning. A lot of doubles and home runs.
1-1 to Rendon. The Mets had a game with 9 extra base hits during their road trip. Tracy at third, Span at second with 2 out. 35th pitch of the inning now for Lyon. And it's hit in the air to deep left field. Back goes Young near the wall. He can't make the catch. 2 more runs will score. Tracy and Spanner in. A 2-run double for Anthony Rendon. His first hit in the series produces 2 runs. 10-0 Washington. The 5th extra base hit of the inning against Brandon Lyon, who is now throwing his last pitch of the day.
Oh, tough outing for Lyon here. Just there's down and in sinker in a good spot. You don't like to see when you make your good pitches and they're getting hit.
That, my friends, is a very, very rough outing. 5 extra base hits in 2/3 of an inning against Brandon Lyon. Scott Rice will try and bail him out. Gave up a huge hit on Friday night and just an inning that would not end here on Sunday afternoon. Now Scott Rice will try and get the final out in the top of the 8th.
A 44th game. Boy, he's working on a 90+ appearances in a season.
Leads the National League in appearances. Ryan Zimmerman, the 9th man up in the inning, and takes a fastball for a strike. A 1-out double from Worth. And then with 2 out, Bernardina doubled. Suzuki hit a 2-run homer. Tracy walked. Span doubled. Rendon doubled. 35 pitches for Lyon and unable to complete the inning. And Zimmerman adds a base hit. Rendon will be waved home. And he'll score to make it 11-0. Which now closes the book on Brandon Lyon. And it's an ugly chapter. 6 runs in 2/3 of an inning charged to Brandon Lyon.
And they have batted around now for the Nationals. First pitch hitting always gets sinker, got over the middle and up.
Oh. Well, we may see a position player pitch for the Mets.
Oh,
Anthony Recker getting his arm loose in the Mets bullpen. Well, it's something that no manager wants to do, but sometimes you just don't have a choice. And so Terry Collins getting Anthony Recker ready perhaps to pitch the 9th inning. The Mets went the first 31 years of their existence before they finally had a pitcher take a non-pitcher take them out. The first ever to do it wasn't until 1992. Bill Pacoda in Pittsburgh was the first Met position player ever to pitch. And there have been probably half a dozen since then. Matt Franco pitched a couple of times. Mentioned Derek Bell, Desi Relaford. Todd Zeile pitched an inning. I'm thinking Zeile might have been the last to do it, but we'll have Dave Freed look it up. He'll tell us for sure. LaRoche hit a home run back in the second for the first Nationals run, and he grounds this one down to first, and the inning finally will come to an end. 10 men came to bat for the Nationals. 6 of them scored. 11-0 Washington in the 8th. Third base for the Nats after pinch hitting. And rookie left-hander Ian Kroll, whose career has gotten off to a fine start, will pitch in the 8th.
Well, I'll say a fine start. As you can see right there, 9 2/3 perfect, and more impressive is 1 walk and the punch outs. My goodness. Big leagues is easy.
Well, for a Nationals team that didn't have an effective lefty in the bullpen when the year began, they have certainly found one in Kroll and a second in Fernando Abad, who pitched in yesterday's game. Kroll was originally drafted by Oakland, picked up in a 3-way deal in the offseason, the deal that sent Michael Morse to Seattle. Andrew Brown leads off in the home 8th inning, his second turn at bat. Gio Gonzalez went 7 innings for the Nats, allowed no runs and 3 hits, a walk and 7 strikeouts, on his way to his 5th win of the year and his 2nd in a row. Eric Young on deck, then Daniel Murphy against Kroll, who's working rapidly. And Brown flies one out to right, and Jason Worth is there. 1 out.
Well, this Nationals club, Gary, as we said earlier, is going to get Bryce Harper back tomorrow. They're hoping to get Wilson Ramos, their young catcher, back in maybe a week to 10 days. Get into some second half mode here. I just think this team, who's been playing 500 most of the year, and Davey said earlier, the first I talked to him, that they have not caught a break all year. And everything seems to have gone against them. He feels that this club's due for a run.
Here's Eric Young, whose 8-game hitting streak is on the line. And he takes low and inside. Well, I forgot Rob Johnson. Rob Johnson was the last Mets position player to take the mound. That was just last year in Toronto.
See, I wasn't on that trip. Ronnie always gets Toronto.
I thought you were going to say he always gets the position players pitching. to center, and Span drifts back to grab it. So Young 0 for 4 on the day, and that's the second out of the 8th. I mean, how often do the Mets actually go to Toronto?
I know. It's like
once every
next year the Mets will play the West. The AL West will be, so they'll have a chance in 2 years.
Maybe, or maybe they'll come here.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, the Mets hadn't been to the south side of Chicago in 11 years before they went there.
Hey, though I have been to Toronto when I played that 1 year with Cleveland. And there's two things I noticed. They closed the bars down early there, and it was a real clean city.
Very clean. Murphy lines one to center, and Span comes on to make the sliding grab, and that retires the side. That's around 1, 2, 3 in the bottom of the 8th. On we go to the 9th with the Nationals up 11-0. Mets played a 15-inning game in Miami earlier this season, and in that game, Terry Collins said if there'd been a 16th inning, Anthony Recker was going to pitch. Well, didn't get around to that. Recker now makes his major league and professional pitching debut in the 9th inning this afternoon. He did pitch a little bit in college at Alvernia College in Pennsylvania for Yogi Lutz, and so the Mets' backup catcher becomes the latest Met position player to take the mound. It's never a happy time for a team. It means that you're getting blown out, but Recker will try and save the bullpen by pitching an inning here.
And you know what they say, the guys that throw the best BP are always catchers, because they're right over the top.
Well,
we'll find out.
You don't want it to be BP. So we'll see what Recker's got. He'll face Jason Worth to lead off the 9th. Well, I guess as a hitter, you never want to get embarrassed.
No.
By a position player.
It's a no-win for the hitter here.
85-mile-an-hour fastball.
Then we'll look at his motion. Look at his fundies. Off the first base side of the rubber. Very nice upright. Not much push off.
Got the second pitch up to 88, so he's gaining life, but behind 2-0. Ian Desmond on deck. Roger Bernardina behind him. Took a little off, and it's low, 3-0. And he's getting no breaks from Angel Hernandez.
No. If it was Frank Pulley back there, Frank would be telling Jason Worth when he got to the plate, swing the bat. Anything.
And Worth walks on 4 pitches.
Anything close is going to be a strike.
So now Ian Desmond, 1 for 3 today, doubled in a run back in the second. The Nats got 4 in the second and 1 in the third against Zach Wheeler, and then they got 6 in the 8th off Brandon Lyon, necessitating Recker's appearance, and he's thrown 5 pitches. They've all been out of the strike zone.
You know what might have been a good thing to do was put the catching gear on Recker and give Buck a break. Let Buck pitch.
Oh, I thought you were going to say put the catching gear on him and let him pitch from the mound. Because that's what he's used to do.
Buck's been squatting back there the whole game, and after that big long inning, let Buck throw the BP. Well, it's his number 1. I mean, please. Come on in. There you go.
Desmond takes a rip, hits it deep down the line. Got it if it stays fair, and it is a 2-run homer for Ian Desmond.
Oh my goodness! No, Gary, you see where that hit?
It hit in the Acela Club.
He gave him a bomb.
We'll usually see balls hit up there.
Oh wow!
Desmond takes advantage and makes it 13-0. 15th of the year for Desmond as he wraps up what has been an incredibly productive month of June. 28 RBIs in June for Desmond, far more than any National has hit in that month.
Fastball down and in. Boom.
And that was like BP. Wow.
That is a bomb.
It would knock the Chardonnay right off your table. Bernardino flies one out to center, and Juan Lagares is there to grab it. And Recker has recorded an out. He now officially has an ERA of something other than infinity.
What is that? 14 for Desmond?
15.
Oh wow! What a nice year. He's a good player.
Here's Kurt Suzuki, who had a 2-run homer against Brandon Lyon in the 8th inning. The Nats have now hit 4 home runs on the day.
Well, they got 10 extra base hits now, correct? So 4 home runs and 6 doubles, I believe. Yes, I am correct.
I didn't doubt you for a moment.
Just double checked.
Recker has changed speeds on his fastball.
He's running out of gas.
83 to 88. Took a little off that time to get it over. 2-1. Well, the remaining fans are with Anthony Recker, trying to root him to the finish line here in the top of the ninth.
And he's trying to paint.
Well, there we go. We have unearthed his career stats pitching at Alvernia. Not too pretty. 7 earned runs in 4 innings. A double-digit ERA. Gets the pop-up from Suzuki, and Eric Young puts it away for the second out. So Recker's gotten a couple of outs here in the top of the ninth. And now Chad Tracy will come up for the second time. He walked amidst the debris in the 8th inning.
Oh.
Yeah, Angel's not giving him anything. 2-0. Now the 2-0. And Tracy hits it in the air. This one's playable for Eric Young. So after giving up the 2-run homer, Recker gets 3 fly ball outs. He did what he was supposed to do. He saved the bullpen an inning. 13-0. going to turn it back in the bottom of the ninth after his inning of work on the mound. And Terry Collins keeping it light. Nothing much you can do in these situations except take the ball and throw it over the plate and hope something good happens. Ian Desmond hit one of the longer home runs you're going to see. But other than that, Record did a nice job. Jordani Valdespin is going to be a pinch hitter, batting for David Wright, leading off in the last of the ninth. So Wright's bobblehead day turns into a lopsided mess for the Mets, down 13-0. Ian Kroll pitched the 8th inning through just 7 pitches, so he'll stay on for the 9th. And Valdespin jumps away for ball 1. Well, if the Mets don't score a whole bunch of runs, this will be their most lopsided loss of the season. Last time they lost a game by this many runs, you got to go back to last September when they got trounced by the Phillies 16-1. And a half cut by Valdespin on a 2-0 pitch. You hate to see that. 2-1.
That was not a good swing.
Hits this one in the air to deep right field, but Worth goes back and on the warning track has room to make the catch. Worth took the Griggs circle route to that ball, but plenty of time to get under it. So Valdespin trying to break up the shutout, can't do it. And now a pretty good hitting pitcher, Anthony Recker.
And gets a nice round of applause from the remaining folks here.
You know, there's an old saying, you never know what you're going to see when you go to the ballpark. And this is a day that most fans who come to the game will always remember. They'll remember it for some negative reasons. Zach Wheeler's first home start didn't go well. Mets getting trounced. But they'll also remember that they saw a position player take them out. Don't get to see that very often. Recker takes a strike. So now Recker, having given up a home run, would like to get it back. Mets suffered a 13-0 shutout last year against Miami. But I think that game in Philly still remains the most lopsided loss in Mets history. That 26-7 debacle that you were there for.
That'll be it. I was there for around 2 innings, and I was in the shower.
But you were in attendance.
I was there. Gorfax started, right?
Tom Gorman, he gave up 6 runs, I think, maybe 7. Joe Sambito gave up 10 in that game.
Yeah.
Recker out on strikes. And so Kroll has retired all 5 he has faced in relief. And the Mets are down to their last out on a lost day.
Fastball, outside corner, right by him.
Here's Josh Satin, 1 for 3 on the day. Had a base hit his last time up.
That game, I believe, Von Hayes had a big game.
I think he had 2 home runs in the first 2 innings.
They had high hopes for Von Hayes. He was a very talented player.
Well, they traded a whole bunch of players
to get him.
To Cleveland to get him.
He never, I mean, he was a good player, but he never blossomed into the star they thought he would be.
I think Julio Franco won that deal, didn't he? From
I forget.
From the Phillies to the Indians?
No, Von Hayes could run, could throw, hit with power.
Mets are down to their last strike. Satin hits it to left center. Long run for Span. He won't get there. And it goes to the wall and kicks away. Satin will settle for a double. So Josh Satin has his 2nd hit of the day. And the Mets 4th. Well, he continues to have good at bats.
He's going to continue to be in the lineup with the way he's swinging. Very nice. He only met with more than one hit. Well, that's usually what happens when you got 4 hits for the day.
John Buck is 0 for 3. The Nationals with the Munsters-esque totals. 13-13 Mockingbird Lane.
That's right.
1-1 to Buck. Mets trying to at least break up the shutout here in the 9th, and Buck fouls it back. 1-2. Juan Lagares would be next. Ian Kroll trying to put on the finishing touches for Gio Gonzalez, who went 7 terrific innings today. Two and 2 to Buck. John is just 2 for his last 33. He's seen his average shrink to 205. After that glorious start in April. The Diamondbacks are here tomorrow night. They're in Atlanta today, trailing the Braves 6-2 in the 8th.
And Buck cranks one to deep left field. That is well gone. A 2-run homer for John Buck breaks up the shutout. His 13th home run of the year. Now it's 13-2. So if nothing else, the Mets can say they were not shut out today.
Well, the other side too, hope it'll get Buck going. Fastball right down the middle, inner half, crushed.
Juan Lagares follows with a fly ball to shallow center, and Span slides to grab it, and that'll do it for today's festivities. Buck breaks up the shutout with a 2-run homer, but Gio Gonzalez with 7 scoreless innings. The Nats score 5 runs against Zach Wheeler in his home debut and expand their lead all day and win it 13-2.
Well, the Mets were never in this one. They fell bound with 4 runs in the 2nd inning. Zach Wheeler got the start and the loss. Not a good start for Zach. 4 2/3, 6 hits, 5 runs, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts, but gave up 2 home runs, both solo shots, LaRoche and Worth. But the big inning for the Nats was that 4-run fourth, and of course in the batted around in the 8th, where they got 6 runs, all charged to Lyon.
4 home runs for the Nats today, 10 extra base hits. Game summary brought to you by Lexus. Here's to a life less routine. The Lexus RX. Not a good day for Wheeler. Anthony Recker pitches the 9th inning. The Nationals go back over 500 as they take 2 of 3 from the Mets. More from Citi Field in a moment.